Sensational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Yeah. When you don't know what to say in the morning, just go, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how the whole Stern "Hey Now" started.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think...
I don't know what to say. Say, hey now. Hey now.
I think, didn't Ralph start that?
He's dead now.
Who's dead
Yeah,
now.
passed
That was
away.
a crazy
Very
story
sad.
towards the end of
Yeah.
last year. And
What happened there? Do we know what happened with him?
So my understanding is, in listening to Howard announcing it, was that he had a medical procedure that went awry. His heart stopped on the table, so he was having some other procedure done, and that was it. It was complications.
Well, that is what happened to Joan Rivers, right?
yeah, she had she
She
was
was
on the
having
table.
she was having a test done. It wasn't even a procedure. Well, I guess that's a procedure, but she was having the endoscopy done.
Yeah.
And everything closed up, and they didn't have the right medicine to deal with it, and boom, that's what ended up happening.
You just never know. Every
All
day's a
right.
gift. And
Well,
all
we
that stuff.
started in a very dismal way today, but good morning. Sorry.
I hate that bumper. Sorry.
Okay, so I do want to say right off the bat, I know this is wrong. I know this is improper of me to do, and
Okay.
I guess I don't know why this is happening to me here. I know this is improper, and it's not what I'm supposed to do. However, I know we run the commercial about that. What is that home phone thing? Community community phone.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
Scam.
I'm just saying they're not telling you the truth in the commercial. I know we run it, and all the way in, Davey. Jam that sucker in, man. Little
Don't
harder,
be afraid.
A little further. They're giving you incorrect information, and I think Greeley would confirm this. The other one, Consumer Cellular, which is a cell phone, and they say 50% of the price, 100% of the services. I think that's a company that's owned by AT&T.
Yeah, well, much like
You see that on all the old TV, the cable networks run that commercial all the time, on where all the old people are watching.
Yeah, right. And Visible.
No offense, every year goes on, I get closer to one of those old people.
And then Visible, and I don't think they're very shy about it. Visible, and I think they actually advertise it as a division of Verizon. And then your Spectrum Mobile is actually using Verizon's signal, and they have a deal with Verizon so they can charge so little. So it's all. There's really only the 3 or 4 main carriers, quote unquote.
The problem with the service community phone, community landline, or whatever they call it, the problem with that is they say this is just like the old-fashioned landline. And that's where I get angry because it's not true.
It's
It's
still
just like
internet-based.
it's internet-based. It's a cell phone that's built like a landline. So once you get the perfect connection, if you do in your home, well, there's some people that it won't work. Some people don't have cell coverage at their home.
No.
I know one person who
Or
says
internet.
they can't. They have internet, but they don't have cell coverage. So you can do IP based. I guess that would work, IP based, but you have to have internet. So the power goes out, you lose your phone. Anyway, I just think it's somewhat deceiving. And if you're a company that's advertising, and the premise of your advertisement is deceiving, what was the story that in Miracle on 34th Street, which I saw like 9 times over the holidays?
Oh,
that Santa was saying instead of going to Macy's, I know Sutton said Bloomingdale's or whatever has it. This is kind of like the same thing. I'm saying you can get this at Verizon.
Well, not to
or
mention,
you can get this at AT&T.
Not to mention, okay, not to mention the guy that spoke to us from this community phone or whatever it was called had a horrible phone connection from Canada when we
He
talked
did,
to
yeah.
him.
Sorry, I'm coming all the way from Canada. You might not be able to hear me. That's not a thing either anymore. You could be talking to somebody from Europe and you still have a good connection. Good morning, Davey. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, report on last night's college game. What happened?
Didn't watch it. I only watched it up until 17-3 when Michigan was winning with 8 minutes left, and I turned it off. They ended up winning 34-13.
I logged in just before I went to bed, and it was like 21-13 or something.
It was 2010 at one point.
They were in, whatever it was. They were in reach. Yeah. Washington was in reach, and I'm like, wow, this might be a game. And then I woke up in the middle of the night again to see that they blew them out.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. And Smitty and I were talking about it this morning. Do you think Jim Harbaugh stays? I do not think so. I think he's gone.
He's hired Tom Brady's agent, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he's going to the NFL.
Yeah. And on the one thing, on the Belichick thing, I just want to say one quick thing on sports, and then I want to move along. I understand that Shannon Sharp, in his marbles in his mouth way, said that who's going to want Belichick? And I would only say this. As a Bills fan, I know we've been in that situation where you're like, boy, we got to get a coach. Wouldn't it be something if they hired Belichick? So there are teams out there who are going to be in need of a coach, and they're going to be like, wow, maybe wouldn't it be something if we could get Belichick? And I understand. Without Tom Brady, he has been nothing. But with Tom Brady, he was considered brilliant. In fact, Brady called him the greatest coach of all time
in the world.
So,
Brady.
But I got to say, I think they're going to keep him. They're going to make some changes. They're going to maybe the offensive coordinator change. I think they're going to keep him.
I think you're right. I do think that there's the possibility that Robert Kraft says, "Listen, I'm not dealing with this anymore. I mean, I don't want to have you go out. I mean, you mean a lot to this organization, but something's got to give, and that very well may be the case." But just to the point, what I was trying to make, and kind of off what Sharp was saying, is that I think we found out, who the real magic person was in New England all those years.
I guess
we found it out, and I think Tom Brady. Say what you want about him, he's an easy guy to hate, but he's also undeniably, I think, the GOAT. He's a class act when it's all said and done.
Because you have to say that when Brady was at Tampa Bay, he performed pretty well.
Yeah.
And, he was at the end of his career. So last night, Jimmy Kimmel, this Jimmy Kimmel Aaron Rodgers thing, I got to tell you something. The next year's worst team is once again going to be the New York Jets.
Oh, without a doubt.
And Aaron Rodgers is only going to make matters worse for that team. He is trouble, and it is not going to be. It's not. They're going to put everything into Aaron Rodgers, which I don't understand. I mean, you're putting everything into a guy that's at the very end of his career, who's a wild card and a little crazy out there.
And not Tom Brady, I might add.
And not Tom Brady. He wasn't Tom Brady when he was Aaron Rodgers.
No, he was
peak.
Let me tell you something. As a fan, watching him week in and week out.
Understood.
He brought a lot of wins. He was very enjoyable to watch, very mobile quarterback, very skilled. But now...
So on the McAfee show, which Aaron Rodgers appears every Tuesday, who knows what he's going to say today? Because last night, Jimmy Kimmel ripped him. And it was a tear down, a defeat, a kick in the face, a kick in the teeth. And then as Aaron Rodgers tried to get up, he kicked him some more. And he did it unbelievably in an eloquent, funny way. I'm no big Jimmy Kimmel fan, but he crushed him. Here is the audio from last night as he goes, now, remember, what happened is at some point, because Aaron Rodgers was anti-vax, so apparently, I believe, Kimmel told a joke about him. So apparently it hit hard for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So now Aaron Rodgers decides he's going to go after Jimmy Kimmel and basically did it in a very uneloquent way.
Yeah,
so
he basically said
he's a pedophile.
Yeah, he's on Epstein Island and all
so that is a major problem. I mean, you're talking about something that's slanderous right there. Anyway, so last night, so he ripped into Jimmy Kimmel and said this. Kimmel is saying we'll figure this out in court, blah blah blah. But last night, Kimmel ripped into Aaron Rodgers. Keeping in mind, McAfee has apologized, ESPN has apologized. You know that ESPN is owned by ABC, of course.
Yeah,
and
Disney.
Jimmy Kimmel is the thing at ABC. So here's what here's what Jimmy Kimmel had to say last night about Aaron Rodgers. Here we go.
Aaron Rodgers has a very high opinion of himself. Because he had success on the football field, he believes himself to be an extraordinary being. He genuinely thinks that because God gave him the ability to throw a ball, he's smarter than everyone else. The idea that his brain is just average is unfathomable to him. We learned during COVID, somehow he knows more about science than scientists. A guy who went to community college, then got into Cal on a football scholarship and didn't graduate, someone who never spent a minute studying the human body, is an expert in the field of immunology. He just put on a magic helmet, and that G made him a genius. Aaron got 2 A's on his report card. They were both in the word Aaron, okay?
All right, so that's about 40 seconds of it. It went on for about 7 minutes, and I really felt it was pretty good. So now Aaron Rodgers will be on McAfee, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes today. Does this thing keep going?
Oh God. It's
I would imagine it will.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You know, speaking as a Green Bay fan, I don't know if I speak for all Green Bay fans.
Well,
good riddance.
You are an owner.
That's right.
So
good riddance. And you know what? It became very apparent that the culture that I think has been emblematic of Green Bay for, well, its history of being kind of just, in its own realm, not trying to make waves, not doing anything crazy, just kind of being there and trying to develop a winning culture, kind of being almost, I hate the word. I don't know what word I'm trying to look for, but just kind of above the fold, kind of very keel,
upstanding.
Yeah. He kind of started to really deteriorate that in the last 2 or 3 seasons. And
yeah.
I think we're all just happy to have a good, strong character like Jordan Love on the field now.
Well, I mean, think about it. You've got
he's got more passing yards and touchdowns than Favre and Rodgers in their first season. So
remember, this is the former State Farm guy.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And they walked away from him. And I got to say that with Mahomes doing his temper tantrums on the sidelines, it won't be long and you're going to see Mahomes. They're going to walk away from Mahomes. In fact, over the holidays, during some football over the holidays, they were introducing new people to the commercials that didn't include Mahomes.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. They went back to his commercials, but I think they were like, you better, you're not looking really good on the sidelines here, throwing your helmet, screaming at people. Coming up on the program today, what is the best and worst states to raise a family? Not to pay taxes, because we know New York almost leads the way when it comes to that.
Oh, yeah.
So Tonya Powers, we'll speak to her coming up in a second on that. Dr. Ken Hall in his final days at MVHS at Wynn. We'll speak with him, the Mohawk Valley Hospital MVHS Chief Physician Executive at Wynn. Our free money question of the day this morning from Hobika. Farmer Ben is on today.
He's on with a really interesting topic.
Well, for the first time ever, the North American Manure Expo is being, and listen, we're full of hot air, BS,
yeah,
and you know what that stands for. So to see this thing being held here in New York State, in upstate New York, wow, what's going on?
One of my questions for him will be, will there be samples brought to this thing? I mean, are they going to have to bring a mask or something, or what?
And another Common Council member from Utica on today. You have this little back and forth going on between Samantha Testa and Katie Aiello. Aiello will be on later on this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of rivalries.
John in Bridgewater. Good morning, John. Good morning.
Hey, Bill, good morning.
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you. Hey, I got a question for you. That diner that blew up,
Cindy's
you
diner.
guys actually think that the fire company says, well, doesn't look like foul play, but the place blew up and we don't know. They're not going to know what happened because there's nothing left to investigate. But how about this? The lady that owned the diner sold it. The guy that owns land next to it is a construction worker. He wants to expand. She wants to sell. She sells. He buys, and the building blows up 3 days later. I'm just throwing that out.
Well, they're from what I understand, there were new owners. They had just purchased the place.
Yeah. And he wanted
but
the
if you were to,
construction company wanted to expand, right?
Okay.
And, well, the building's, let's say it's in its way. On it, instead of paying to have it taken down, I don't know. It just seems fishy that it goes up 3 days later on prime location on Route 12, all that land.
Well, the only thing I know what you're implying, and we have to be very careful about implying such a thing.
I know. How about the Charlestown Mall?
Well, what about that?
That went up, and nobody. How'd that go up?
That went up because there were squatters in there.
Yeah,
and
they were
living in there.
Having a party in there.
I just threw it out there, though. That's all.
But listen. I don't think you can do that responsibly. I just want to say that for us, you have to understand.
And how can they investigate and say that there's no foul play when there's nothing left to investigate to see if there was foul play?
Well, they're brilliant with their abilities to.
They can do it.
Just look at what the NTSB does with an airplane crash, how they are able to piece things back together. So there are ways to tell if there was something used,
All right. Well, I apologize. I just threw it out there. It just seems awful fishy, that's all.
Well, John, I can tell you there's a couple different factors, right? And I'm not familiar intimately with that transaction because I had no involvement in it here. But in the real estate hat on. But it depends on, did they go under contract and then it blew up, or did the property close? Because there's a good 60 to 90 days from when you sign a contract on a property to when it closes and changes ownership, A. And B, I'm going to tell you right now, with propane, it's even worse than natural gas sometimes.
So they were propane?
I think they were on a propane system there. So when propane goes, we saw there was that house on Fourth Lake in Old Forge.
You know the old saying, John, when propane goes, nobody knows.
I know. I had propane in my house. But what was funny, though, is that National Grid was there Friday morning. That's all. Somebody went by and they saw the truck there, and then... So, all right. Well, I
feel like to be honest with you, John, I understand, but I feel like these fire investigators are really good at being able to say, we feel like this is suspicious or we don't, and they say they don't, so that has to be the end of it. All right.
I will leave it at that, but I don't believe it. So, all right.
Okay. All right.
I don't believe it for one bit.
All right. Fair enough.
John in Bridgewater.
Bye-bye.
There you go.
Thank you, John. Well, okay.
Well, I'm going to leave it there, but it was fishy.
It's hard to make that accusation against somebody because that's a really bad accusation to make, right?
Yeah.
You're saying somebody intentionally lit that place, and you just can't go there when there's no evidence to support that.
Right.
And
we certainly do not endorse that theory, so to speak.
Not at all. No, there's no foul play. End of story. What is the best state and the worst state, or what are the best states and the worst states to raise a family? And there are a lot of conditions when you think about this. There's, public safety, opportunities, proper services, proper transportation, things to do in the community. There's a lot of different factors that go into play. Tonya Powers is looking into this one from Fox News Radio. Good morning, Tonya.
Good morning.
So I know I didn't hit everything, but there are a lot of factors here.
There are a lot of factors. The study comes from Wallet Hub. They do an annual report on the best and worst states to raise a family.
Okay.
And they compared all 50 states. There were 50 key indicators of family friendliness. They kind of broke down into family fun, health and safety, education and child care, affordability, socioeconomics. These are some of the things that the big headings that they looked at. And what they found was the best states for families. The one we are all in right now is number 5 on the list. Actually, the number 1 best state for families is Massachusetts. North Dakota is number 2. Minnesota is number 3. Nebraska is number 4. New York is number 5. Maine, New Hampshire, South Dakota, Rhode Island, and Vermont round out the top 10.
Wow.
You know, one of the people would say, well, how could New York be in the top 5? Well, we are one of those states that offers so much in services. That's why we pay so much in taxes. And that does play a big role, the education, all of that stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, when you look at the metrics, and you can see the breakdown of all this at wallethub.com. If you go on their website, you can look at what states scored in each of these rankings. Like I said, New York's total number is a 58.46. Massachusetts, just to give you an idea, number 1 was 66.97. So, it's not that far off from the number 1 spot. Family fun rank was number 3. The health and safety rank was 20. Same goes for the education and child care rank. That was number 20. Affordability was 7, and socioeconomic was 48. So that's kind of what they're, when you look at the different metrics that they used.
Yeah.
That's how it kind of broke down.
It's interesting. Guess what was number 49? Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't want to knock, because that Mississippi was your home state, right?
It was.
Yeah.
You know what? It's that I was not, sadly, not surprised to see it on the bottom of the list.
And I did not bring that up because of you, Tonya.
Oh, yeah, you did, Andrew. Tonya, would you agree? I mean, you live in New York City, where you have all the services, and you can there's something to do at every moment in New York City. But you get into a lot of these other states, and you save a ton of money on taxes, but you do see the difference in what services are available for everyday people in states with that low tax income.
I mean, when you break it down, and they looked at like affordable housing, New York was 49th. I don't think that'll surprise anybody. If you look at child care costs, New York was 50th. It's, like I said, there's at least, I mean, you're not seeing New York in other, like the top or the bottom of things like infant mortality rate, violent crimes per capita.
Right.
They're not in the top 5 or the bottom 5. And by the way, the bottom 5 are all a tie for 46th. Percentage of families in poverty, it's not on the top or the bottom of that. It's, there's also the separation and divorce rate. They looked at a lot of different metrics for these rankings.
Well, one of the things I'll tell you that you see in New York, and you see a lot, is people, when they have kids in school, they're in New York, and then after everybody graduates and everybody moves on and they retire, they go to another state where the expenses are lower, and they don't need all of those services because they don't have kids anymore. So, interesting stuff. All right, Tonya, thank you as always.
Sure, thanks.
Have a great day. Tonya J. Powers from Fox News. Matt in Whitesboro. Jimmy Kimmel lives in a glass house. He started his career on The Man Show, where it ended daily with women jumping on trampolines. He's no member of Mensa. Kimmel thinks he's smart because... I'm trying to pull up the whole... How do I get the whole message to...
I'm trying to... once I log in, I'll be able to
get it now. He's no member of Mensa. Kimmel thinks he's smart because he's got a microphone and a team of writers. I don't know. I think Kimmel is a pretty smart guy, and I don't think you can hold the Man Show against him. That was his job. Very similar to what my show was when you think about it back in the day. But the difference in this is you can tell a joke about somebody. Jokes are usually based, especially on these programs, are based on fact. So somebody does something, somebody's caught in the middle of something, a joke is told, ha, 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 and maybe it's a tough joke. Maybe it's not an enjoyable joke for the other person, but it's based on fact. This is an outright slander. There's no evidence at all tying him to Epstein or to pedophilia.
Right.
In fact, he's a father. So, not that a father couldn't be a pedophile, but there's zero evidence. There's a difference between telling a joke and slandering somebody. That is, I'm sorry, but that's the difference, Matt, in this case. I'm not saying he's a great guy. I don't watch the show. I don't really have any idea. I watch old episodes of Johnny Carson
Yeah, there
and
you
Letterman.
The real late night people.
Those were the days. Those were great days. What else do I have here this morning? More on this airline and the door plug, they're calling it.
Yeah,
door
on the
plug.
Alaskan Airlines flight.
And then there's another airline that's saying, yeah, we were checking ours as well, and a lot of loose bolts. So there could have been more of these accidents going forward had it not happened. So that's pretty difficult to deal with. We have another storm on the way. In fact, we have like 3 winter storms in our forecast, or at least that are moving towards our area over the course of the next 14 days. And one is expected to hit today. We'll start with some wet snow. Richard this morning says, about 3 inches of that wet snow. And then it'll turn to all rain. And then back over to snow. But it's the winds that we have to worry about. High winds, gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour. So be ready for that later on today. You're right. You look like you want to add something, Andrew.
No, I'm good. I'm just depressed over the weather, to be honest with you.
The final snow totals are in. How much snow did we all get in our first, I guess we'd call this major, or at the very least significant snowstorm?
Yeah, say significant. Yeah.
Over the weekend. And, we did get, what do you think you got at your place?
Probably at least 7 inches. Maybe a little
I
bit
would
more.
say between
7 and 9.
7 and 9 inches for here. And looking at some of the locations, I'm seeing Oneida with 10 inches, Clinton with 10 inches of snow. What else? There's a long list. Salisbury with 9 inches of snow. During the storm, they say the peak came in Ulster County and Dutchess County, where they were looking at, in a town called Milton, 18 inches of snow.
Wow.
They got hit pretty well. I think to the south, and even to if you go even into the capital region, they seem to get a little more snow. For us, Boonville with a foot. Marcy here had 10 inches. Forestport with 10 inches. Utica got 9 inches. New York Mills with 8. New Hartford with 9 inches. Rome with 6 inches. And although there's somebody here in New Hartford saying they got 5 inches. These are all just people reporting how much snow they got.
It's really hard to tell. I mean, obviously, you can go out, ruler, put it on the picnic table, and get that.
There are the people that want to that really want to argue with
Richard,
and basically it's a competition. I got more snow than you got,
Richard.
The latest we know on that 15-year-old boy being fatally shot in Utica. Again, police in Utica are saying if you know any information on this, the best way to report something would to report a tip by calling Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers.
Yeah.
You can look that up online, Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. It is done completely 100% anonymously. So the latest we know basically is this was a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah, and
the first fatality, the first homicide in Utica for 2024 is a 15-year-old kid.
Some of the latest updates from Utica police include the fact that maybe it was a drive-by type shooting, or that there was somebody in a vehicle that.
So he was found
he
was found lying in the driveway, right?
Yeah, in the road, I think. Yeah.
Okay. They're saying here the latest. It was a driveway near the intersection of Warren and Lennox, and that he had been shot in the head.
Yeah.
Just terrible. Just really
I can't imagine,
terrible when you're dealing with a 15-year-old child.
When I'm thinking about, I was 15, not even able to drive. You're still in late middle school, early high school. Then, I just can't imagine it. That you're in a position where somebody wants to take your life, whether you're the target or not. I mean, it could be, we have very little knowledge at this point. It could have been a mistaken identity. It could have been any number of things.
Yep,
But
did you know that America's Funniest Home Videos is still on TV?
I did not know. Who's the host?
Davey, who's on? What is this show now?
Alfonso Ribeiro is the host.
Oh, okay.
Carlton.
Oh,
Do you remember when this show used to be
Bob
huge?
Saget.
Saget, and his jokes were the corniest, but you didn't realize he had all these corny jokes, but if you ever saw him in stand-up, he was filthy.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And then the guy that hosted Dancing with Stars took over for him.
Right. Yeah, and now it's Carlton.
Yeah.
An
does
upstate
the
New York,
Carlton.
an upstate New York family just won $6,000 on America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, really?
Amanda King of Rochester sent a video of her son Ethan, thinking he was trapped alone inside an elevator. Ethan is seen facing one side of the elevator and pounding on the door while yelling "Mama." Then the elevator's rear door opens, and you'll see that in a hospital, where the door will open on both sides. Then all of a sudden, the elevator's rear door opens, and Stephen Mott, who was recording the clip, appeared behind the boy. Ethan, turn around. Ethan appeared a little embarrassed, but relieved to learn that he wasn't stuck. This story is at Syracuse.com. Here's a handy life hack. Some of them have doors in the front and in the back, said Alfonso Ribeiro. Joked on Sunday night's episode of America's Funniest Home Videos. They actually won and received $6,000 for the funny video.
What a prize.
This show was enormous back in the day. In fact, we used to do a thing over at the Radisson where people would send in their local home videos, and we would pick one winner each week. We'd play them at the Radisson every Sunday night. We'd pick one winner, and they'd walk away with a local prize.
That's cool.
That was kind of a cool thing. Yeah. We mentioned the Michigan Wolverines are college football's 2023-24 champion.
Would you like a quick update on my finger?
We yesterday learned that Davy's finger was infected and
yes, it was
bad. Like it could have gotten very, very serious for you.
Yes.
And you finally went to the doctors.
So after the show yesterday, I went over to the Dollar General Colonial Plaza over there to the Medico in Whitesboro. Very friendly.
So Dollar General has its own health
in the
center.
plaza.
Oh, it's in the plaza. Okay.
Very friendly atmosphere over there. They took care of me great. That's all.
So what do they do? Do they have to cut it?
Yeah, they cut it and drained a whole bunch of stuff out of it.
Oh, boy.
So I'm on the medication for 10 days and a couple ointments for 2 weeks.
Okay, all right.
But it feels much better. I can actually bend it.
They did tell you that if you left this untreated, what could have happened?
Worse, they said.
Yeah, it would have been worse.
But thank you for reaching out to the people and friends.
Listen, Davey, when you need help, where do you go? This
We're
audience,
always here.
This audience is amazing. I had 3 people willing to come in and actually cut your finger for you. I mean, these are John in Bridgewater was ready to come in and say it had to be amputated. He would amputate it.
He was
going to
use a firework.
He was going to strap a bottle rocket to your finger and just let it go. Yeah. A new report in the Wall Street Journal says government officials are a little worried with Elon Musk.
Really? What are they worried about?
The Journal says leaders at Tesla and SpaceX are worried that illegal drugs are behind Elon Musk's constant erratic behavior. In the middle of the night, they'll get a phone call, and it's like, I want to get a spaceship to the moon. That's how this all happened. He goes, he does drugs, and then he starts calling up his guys with ideas. They say cocaine.
Well, thank God. Think of some of the things he's come up with.
I guess. They say cocaine might be one of the problems.
Oh, yeah.
The article mentions his alleged use of drugs, including LSD, cocaine, ecstasy, mushrooms, and ketamine. The story says illegal drug use could put government contacts with SpaceX at risk. And we even have some audio. Here we go.
If you want to keep up with Elon Musk, cocaine.
Ah, yes.
All right. Enough of that. Guess who turns 80 years old today? Think about it. Guess who turns 80 years old today? Led Zeppelin. Not Led Zeppelin, but Jimmy Page.
Really?
Yeah. 80 years old. Jimmy Page is 80 years old today.
Wow.
Enough.
I love me some Led Zeppelin, boy. Oh, yeah.
Are you running heat in here to kill me, or what are you trying to do?
I'm telling you, the air is on. It was on.
I smell heat. I smell heat. I'm just telling you.
Just going to have to turn this thing off.
I smell heat.
I think the thing's going to blow up. You can't run AC with 27 degrees outside.
Listen. You run AC when you need it. That's the way I look at it. I have more on the...
You said you needed to sleep, so...
Sopranos' 25th anniversary. Did you see that's coming?
This is crazy. Yeah.
And there is never-before-seen footage. The Sopranos has a 25th anniversary collection streaming on Max with all 6 seasons, 15 deleted scenes, and over 5 hours of behind-the-scene footage. On Thursday,
that's cool.
There will be a family reunion fan screening in L.A. and New York City with special guest appearances, Sopranos-themed snacks, and trivia.
Gabagool, then?
Anthony Soprano, Detective Gaudioso, Essex County. I have a warrant for your arrest.
Would you bring the whole county with you?
We don't take any chances.
Will you tell them he's got a medical condition? That this is his family doctor right here. Ask him.
I told you people I didn't want any presents,
Just a few kind words.
Mr. Federal Attorney.
That was my father's line every year.
You had to have your cheap headline, huh? Can you really not be aware we've been building a RICO case against Tony Soprano?
Yeah, T, what's up? You talked to the guy with the air mattress?
Love this show. I just loved this show. This was the first big one.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? This was the one. Sunday night became appointment television. We would have friends come over on Sunday night. We'd all watch
the latest episode.
The latest episode of Sopranos.
And there was no binging. It was, you have to wait a week to find out what's going to happen.
Yep.
And then you had to wait another season to find out what was going to happen.
And then we'd get done with it. We'd have a few cocktails and go out and break some kneecaps.
And then we'd go to therapy the next day.
The next day, yeah. We'd tell everything. What a great show that was. And what a sad thing for Gandolfini to pass away. Over the years, let's see, we've had Janice, I forget her name, the actress.
I forget her name.
We had her on the radio, an amazing interview we had with her. And we had, Davey, Meadow on the radio once.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I remember that.
What was her name? She's had some...
Jamie Lynn Siegler.
Jamie Lynn Siegler. She's had some
health
issues. And seems to be doing well now, however. But boy,
not
what
if
a
she has
program.
Excellus Blue Cross Blue Shield. Hey, now.
Right. Apparently, if she has that, they don't accept you at Well Now. So she won't be going to Well Now for treatment. However, over at the dollar store, they do accept it. Right, Davey?
The dollar store.
It's not the dollar store.
All right. That's fine. All right, hold tight. Hobika's free money question coming up next hour. WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
Former President Trump goes back to court. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The day after President Biden called his potential 2024 rematch rival a loser, saying in a speech condemning white supremacy in South Carolina. MAGA Republicans are trying to steal history, calling the Capitol riot a peaceful protest.
His actions were among the worst derelictions of duty by any president in American history.
Now, the former president will be in an appeals court, claiming he has immunity from actions he took while in the White House. And he posted this on Truth Social.
If I don't get immunity, then crooked Joe Biden doesn't get immunity. And with the border invasion and Afghanistan surrender alone, not to mention the millions of dollars that went into his pockets with money from foreign countries, Joe would be ripe for indictment.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff. All this ahead of a March Trump trial on election-related federal charges.
Now, the government's argument, it's a bit more cut and dry. It's that if absolute immunity is granted, it sets a dangerous standard that would simply allow for presidents to commit crimes.
At a Fox News Channel town hall last night in Iowa, Nikki Haley said she can defeat the former president in the Republican race and wants attempts to disqualify him to fail.
We can't have others saying, I don't think he should be on the ballot. I think Americans can decide decide on their own whether they want him to be on the ballot or not.
6 days before the Iowa caucuses, Ron DeSantis has a Fox Town Hall tonight. There's a Trump Fox Town Hall tomorrow. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's in Israel as the war rages against Hamas.
Meeting with Israel's war cabinet, the families of the hostages held inside Gaza, in addition to a variety of Israeli leadership. All of this to discuss two things: the day after for the war in Gaza and how to avoid a larger regional conflict with Lebanon.
Fox's Trey Inkster in Israel. Both United and Alaska Airlines have found issues with more door plugs on grounded Boeing jets days after the one that blew off an Alaska flight, leaving a gaping hole. They're celebrating in Michigan.
Hail, hail, Michigan. They are the champions of college football.
The final call on ESPN after Michigan beat Washington for the title. America's listening to Fox News.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When Freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Good morning. WIBX 950 News Time, 7:03. I'm Andrew Dominio. Right now, we're at 27 degrees under cloudy skies. We have that high wind warning going into effect at 1 p.m. until 4 a.m. tomorrow. Your full weather forecast is coming up. It is going to be another active weather day across central New York thanks to that storm. That's expected to bring strong wind gusts. Winds are likely to knock down trees and power lines and trigger outages. National Grid says it's already prepared to help customers in need. Utica police are still investigating the first homicide to happen in their city since the beginning of 2024. On Sunday night, a 15-year-old boy was found with a gunshot wound to the head on Warren Street. First responders tried to save the victim's life, but sadly were not able to do so. Police are looking into whether the gunfire came from a vehicle and are asking any witnesses to please contact them immediately at 315-223-3556. The tool Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers is available to you. Go to MohawkValleyCrimeStoppers.com and you can submit an anonymous tip, and it could lead to a cash reward. Governor Hochul will be laying out her agenda for the months ahead during her State of the State address today. The governor is set to speak to members of the legislature at the state capitol in Albany. She has already revealed some proposals in the past several days, including plans to boost reading proficiency in schools, making New York a leader in AI research and innovation, and taking on the maternal and infant mortality crisis. The governor will roll out her state budget at a later date. And New York State Police have released the results of a holiday season crackdown on dangerous driving. There were more than 106,000 tickets given out between December 13th and January 1st. Over 3,800 of those tickets were issued in this area alone for offenses including speeding, distracted driving, and DWI. During last year's national DWI crackdown, state police handed out nearly 33,000 tickets and arrested over 450 people for driving while intoxicated. WIBX 950 news time is 7:05. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint, brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Visit johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more info.
My Witness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, cloudy as wet snow develops by afternoon, a slushy coating to an inch before changing to rain by evening. Then turning very windy with strong damaging gusts by evening, a high near 40. Tonight, cloudy with rain showers, windy turning milder, gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour with a high wind warning in effect. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
27 degrees under mostly cloudy skies at 7:06. Sports brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. The Michigan Wolverines are the college football playoff national champions. Michigan defeated Washington 34-13 in the championship game at NRG Stadium in Houston. Washington suffered its first loss of the season as the team fell to 14-1, and Michigan earned their first national title since 1997. The college football playoff is in advanced talks to stay on ESPN. The network reported on Monday that both sides are in negotiations to make the four-letter as the sole rights holder for the event over the next 8 years. They're considering paying approximately $1.3 billion for the extension. The Washington Commanders have fired head coach Ron Rivera. Rivera coached the team for 4 seasons and made the playoffs only once. The Commanders finished the season with a record of 4-13 and hold the second pick in the NFL draft. Meanwhile, Washington is hiring former Golden State Warriors general manager Bob Myers and former Vikings general manager Rick Spielman to assist in the search for a new head coach and new head of football operations. The Giants will have to start looking for a new defensive coordinator this offseason. According to ESPN, Wink Martindale is expected to resign as the Giants' defensive coordinator. Martindale and head coach Brian Daboll were reportedly in a bad place during the season. We were hearing those rumors throughout. The G-men also fired other coaches, and the Giants' defensive ranking was 27th overall this past season, but tied for the NFL lead with 31 takeaways. And Bill Belichick is giving an update on his situation with the Patriots as the team heads into the offseason. New England's head coach told reporters Monday that he remains under contract with the franchise and plans to continue working as hard as he can to help the team win next season. The 71-year-old said that he will have a meeting with owner Robert Kraft, which he has done several times after seasons in the past. Belichick also said he would consider giving up some of the control he has currently, such as team personnel, if the organization collectively decides that it's best for him to stay. And one more for you here. Tiger Woods is leaving Nike after a nearly 30-year partnership. In a social media post, the golf star thanked Nike founder.
Imagine this was his decision, although he handled it very, very well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He's come a long way, Tiger Woods has.
Yeah.
The golf star thanked
Nike
Nike
founder.
founder.
Well, he's probably thinking, maybe Nike, you're going to be interested in my son.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He's coming up through the ranks and very quickly. The golf star thanked Nike founder Phil Knight for his passion and vision. Woods signed with Nike at the age of 20 when he turned professional. Nike acknowledged Tiger's contribution to golf in a social media post, saying he challenged his competition, stereotypes, conventions, and the old-school way of thinking. Tiger also confirmed there will be another chapter in his career, ending his post with, "See you in L.A., quote-unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely
that's
referencing
a tournament that he's going to be
most likely referencing the Genesis Invitational scheduled for next month. It is 7:09.
All right. People think that because we're in radio that we completely pay attention. No, I leave that to Davey. Davey knows everything that's going on in radio here in the market. I don't know. I don't even know which stations we have down the hallway here. We have like 5 of them. There's one right behind me. I don't know. I have no idea. Which one's behind me, Davey?
WOUR, the
That's
Rock
OUR.
of Central New York.
The Rock of Central New York.
And then next door to us is Central New York's #1 for New Country, Big Frog 104. And
Okay. Then
Light 98.7. And then the Eagle, 96.1.
Yeah. So apparently,
and we're which one? Which one are we?
We're WIBX 950 and 96 and 106.9.
Okay, so apparently there was a morning show that they got rid of. Do you know anything? So, like Elvis Duran was doing mornings here. It must have been a syndicated thing, right?
Not in one of our stations.
Not one of ours, though. But I'm told that show is no longer. Is that true?
Right.
So people would come up and say, "Oh, there's a guy out there that does crank calls like you used to do crank calls." I can't help myself. I have to say that's not true.
Yeah.
No. They there's some really funny ones. Yeah. Apparently no longer, but they're all fake.
Phone taps or whatever.
They're all fake and scripted, done with L.A. actors and actresses.
Yeah.
All fake.
Because you can't do prank phone calls anymore.
Not a company that size. I mean, you could get away with it probably if you're, a small company. But, the FCC has certain regulations the way you can do these now, and what we used to do can't be done anymore. and I know
Thank God,
and you
right
can
now.
totally, once you know they're fake and they're scripted, you totally know it, and it ruins the whole call.
Yeah.
Like I remember we did one with, remember the was it AA&J? No, Advantage Insurance. Do you remember that company that was around here?
Mm-mm.
Advantage will when others won't. I remember calling up the guy Fiorentino was the man who ran the company back then. And what would happen is their people in their workplace would call us up and give us, hey, would you do a crank on so-and-so? And here are the details. Here's the info. Then we would come up with, concoct this idea, or maybe they did, and we'd call and facilitate it. And they worked time and time again. It was unbelievable. Now, sometimes people would say, no, you can't air that call. But for the most part, people were really good with it. And I remember this, the AA&J, or Advantage Insurance. I think that's what it was. And anyway, Advantage will and others won't. That was the crank call. I think at around 7:40 this morning, I'll play a few things. We were going through old reel-to-reel tapes, and we're preparing for something down the road that might be available around Christmas time next year, and found all of these audio tapes. It's unbelievable. Brad Davies is on there, Kid Chris on there, just the most incredible audio. And these were raw tapes. So these were us it wasn't edited. This was us making the phone call. Actually making the phone call. Here's an example of that, and I'll play more coming up. But this goes back to 1992 when, is today Thursday? Oh, darn it, it's Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Oh, this will be Throwback Tuesday.
You're rushing the week.
Throwback Tuesday. So anyway, it used to be when I was working, this would have been 92, 91, they wouldn't allow us to take live phone calls because we didn't have a delay, and they were afraid somebody was going to say something. So we had to take the call, record it onto reel-to-reel, and then oftentimes you'd edit the call a little bit, like if somebody was. So this, I think, this is really long. I can't play it all, but I'll play a little. This was I believe this was a contest we were doing, and I couldn't find a winner, and I think in this call I'm trying to just give the prize away. So let's. Listen in here. Let me see.
So nice to be around because you're scum. Hi, Rock 107.
I know what it is.
You know what it is.
God, listen to my voice back then.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers don't come around here.
You got it. Who is this? Randy, how long has it been?
A week.
What do we say
Last Friday.
What do we say, about 30 days?
Man, I think I got to slow my voice down. I sound like a Mickey Mouse.
No, you almost sound kind of like one of those actors from the 20s.
So back then, the rule was, do we have a rule here on how many days it takes before you can win another?
30 days.
Oh, we don't pay attention to that, do we? Davey? Yeah. Oh, boy. All right.
I think you're a freaking idiot, man.
Okay, so this is just raw audio. I'm just taking phone calls during a commercial break, I believe.
We hear that crank with it here.
Okay. We'll get your card.
All right, here we go. Rock 107, the most music and best variety with the morning crew at 6:08, 8 after 6 o'clock. Sunshine through high clouds today, and a high of 60. Currently it's 42, and our mystery oldie sounds just like this. All right, there it is. Now, we had a caller who got it right.
Okay, I'm embarrassed to even play this.
You didn't listen to this before.
I haven't listened to it at all. I don't.
6:08, you were there.
No interest in listening to this at all. 6:08. We started at 5:30 back then.
Oh boy,
man, I don't want to play any more of that.
No, you better
make it way too easy. Don't miss your first chance to grab hold of the new Rock 107 Morning Crew's greatest hit cassette, and it's. As a matter of fact, today will be available today starting at 10 o'clock at Mr. C's in Herkimer, and by Sunday
Mr.
at record
C's.
stores all over central New York. Now, we will be broadcasting live from Mr. C's in Herkimer tomorrow from 10 a.m. till 2 with free cassette giveaways, your chance to win cash, and that's at Mr. C's in Herkimer. And that's North Washington Street in Herkimer with Power Hits Rock 107.
This is Kevin.
Okay, now it goes to the commercial break. Now we start recording again. Maybe.
Rock 107.
I think I know the name of your mystery oldie.
And what is it?
I saw him standing there. I saw her standing there by the Beatles.
No, that's not it. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Give me a break. Can you see if Scott's got my tape? Yep. We're awake. I'm ready to start. Woo! Rock 107.
Yes. Could you please wish Sal Respante a happy birthday today?
Okay.
Oh, God, that's terrible. I'm going to...
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I can't believe I just found that audio. That is so...
I wonder who that was.
Amazing. Well, that's someone who just recently passed away.
Well, no, I know who that was. I'm saying the caller.
Wow. I got to save that.
Oh,
well, I've clearly saved it. I never expected that to happen. I had no idea what was on this tape. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Here is Mike in Schuyler. Hello, Michael. Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Man, that brings back memories. I remember the AJ&J Insurance.
Yes.
That one.
That was Kevin. That was Kevin Fear, who owns the
Mattress Express.
Mattress Express right now. I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And I think it was on your greatest the rock.
It was, but Advantage Insurance was different than AA&J. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yes. But how about the one? Remember the one where they pranked you when they got you?
Oh,
you remember that one?
That was Dave and Donna Jordan, and so we had been doing crank calls for quite a couple of years by then, and they had set me up to make the phone call, and I called, and the woman said, "I'm sorry, he's dead." Or something like that, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I had no idea somebody set me up to make this.
Oh boy!
So I felt terrible, and she said, well, that's so insulting. He had just passed away, and I can't believe you would make this fun of this. And
oh my God!
It was something.
Yeah,
and they got me.
I remember that on there.
Yeah, that was good. It's amazing how I remember these. You remember these names and stuff from. Think about 1992. That was a long.
I won't tell you how old I was.
Long time ago.
And I think one last one I thought was funny. I remember something you guys went to the store. So I think Brad was on location or something, and it was just so mad. I used to have that tape, and I lost it. It's always said.
I will just tell you that we're gonna reissue a whole bunch of stuff. And like. Versions that we'll do like unedited versions of things and that sort of thing. So at some point later this year, we're going to do that. So, okay, good stuff there, Michael. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take care.
All right, have a great day. Joe, do you have any pranks on Ed Hanna? They weren't pranks. They were just regular phone calls. They just sounded like pranks.
They were very real.
Yeah, I don't know what's in this. My friend Chris is digitizing everything, taking all the reel-to-reels and putting them over onto into a site, and so we'll have them forever and ever, and have them not get destroyed. Got a break. Hold tight. It's 7:20 at WIBX.
We all make resolutions this time of year, and let's face it, most of them won't stick. But here's one that's not only easy to keep, but will help you feel healthier all year long. Navage. Navage provides quick, drug-free nasal relief by washing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. This time of year, when everyone is sick, Navage helps by sucking out germs, bacteria, and viruses trapped in our noses that cause us to feel miserable. And come allergy season, it does the same with dust, pollen, and other allergens. And unlike medications that can take time to help, if they're effective at all, Navage helps treat congestion symptoms in seconds flat, without drugs. This New Year's, resolve to use drug-free Navage to help you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all year long. Ask for Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or find us online at Navage.com. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Don't be left out in the cold this winter. Call Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning for your free furnace estimate. Smart folks choose Rude energy-efficient heating equipment for their home. Call Tri-County Heating and Air Conditioning at 315-829-4100 or visit their website at tri-countyheating.com. Turn that thermostat down with your Rude high-efficiency furnace and stay warm this winter.
Oneida County Office of Continuing Care has immediate openings for program nurses, starting at over $59,000. Nurses work a 35-hour week, conducting patient screenings and home health assessments. Join our team and make a difference. Apply today at oneidacountyjobs.com.
For a limited time at Mattress Express, qualified buyers will get 60 months to pay on any purchase $1,500 or higher with no money down. That includes all brands of mattresses in the store and massage chairs. See store for details.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Cliff's Local Market is proud to be your convenience store that keeps you going. We are locally owned and operated by Clifford Fuel, and we're proud to offer local products like Utica coffee with fresh brewed dark Adirondack, along with a seasonal flavor. At Cliff's, you can find Dippin' Donuts, sauce from It's a Utica Thing, and cheeses from River Rat and Grassy Cow. Cliff's Local Market has your favorite pizza made fresh all day with dough from Utica, made to order subs, wraps, and salads, and other healthy local choices. Cliff's Local Market, we keep you going.
Remember the simple days of the home phone? You never misplaced that phone or lost a call because of spotty internet or bad reception. It was right there and always reliable, even in emergencies. Well, the home phone is back and better than ever with Community Phone. Community Phone offers landline home phone service starting at just $39 a month. And now get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-714-5864. There are no contracts. You don't need internet. You can make unlimited nationwide calls, and your phone works, even if you lose power. Plus, you can keep your current phone number or get a new one. With Community Phone, you'll enjoy all the modern conveniences of caller ID, voicemail, spam call blocking, and more. Today, get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-714-5864. Call 1-866-714-5864 today to get 50% off. 1-866-714-5864.
At Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry, we know it's a new year. Time to lose weight and start things that you keep putting off, like fixing your smile.
I'm Andrew Rosansky, inviting you to start the year with a new smile. This is the year to get those crowns, veneers, braces, and yes, fillings too. Let me help you start the year smiling.
Get a new smile at Shulman and Rosansky Family Dentistry, 1 Paris Road, New Hartford, and online at uticasmiles.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All righty, it is 7:24. I got to stop listening to these tapes. I'm becoming obsessed. Andrew, obsessed and distracted.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a throwback there.
This
Just
is
a bit.
Lance and Lee. What is a morning without Lance and Lee?
He's become a regular. He's almost the new Richard.
Here is Lance.
I have it here. Do you need it?
Okay, why don't you read it? Yeah.
Andrew, since Mr. Morehouse seems to listen and comment on your show, could you please ask how much ARPA money remains, as well as where I can find the ARPA spending details online? As you know, I like to do my research.
Okay. Dr. Ken Hall is with MVHS and is on the line right now. Doc, good morning. Thanks for coming on, Doc.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good. Happy Tuesday. So, like almost like a throwback to the old days, what are your current numbers at MVHS?
Yeah, so our numbers are fluctuating up and down, and thankfully right now they're a little bit on a down phase. So as of yesterday, we had 17 COVID patients, which is actually down from a week ago when we had I think we had 33 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Our flu patients are also down. We only had 2 flu patients as of yesterday morning. I don't have this morning's numbers yet.
All right.
And we were up to like 9 from a flu standpoint. But I will also say, so the New York State Department of Health put out a notice to hospitals late yesterday afternoon that basically said that it was not a directive. It was a notice suggesting that they look at masking in all clinical areas because of the increased transmission both of COVID and the flu. So basically, they're saying that they would recommend that hospitals and healthcare facilities consider doing what we already did.
So it's interesting. Like there was a time when I would, with a friend of mine, every once in a while, I was stuck on the salads that they had over at St. Luke's.
Oh,
and
I'm gonna tell you, I
kind of
frequented the salad.
We'd slide into the cafeteria there and get a salad and take off. I just feel like right now I would never even think about doing that. Although I am curious to see what the kitchen is, what the cafeteria is like over there.
How's that, Doc?
Oh, the cafeteria at the Wynn Hospital it rivals restaurant cafeterias. It is really good. They've got I can't even if I try to tell you all of the different stations, I'm sure that I will leave one out. I tend to gravitate toward either the salad station, which by the way are made for you right while you're there.
Okay.
Or the soup and chili station. I happen to be a little bit of a chili.
Oh, what are you doing for lunch, Bill? Looks like we're
That's
going
right.
to the Wynn.
Well, the only thing I'm saying is with flu, RSV,
stay
and
away.
COVID, the last thing I'm doing is walking into a hospital if I don't have to.
Exactly.
No offense, Doc, but that's just how I'm feeling right now.
No, actually, I would say, akin to what I've been talking about in terms of you should get the health care that you need at the best level that would give you what you are required to have. If you can get taken care of in your primary care doctor's office, or if you have a specialist, your specialty care doctor's office, that's great. Hospitals are, we have a place in the healthcare system and the healthcare hierarchy, but we should not be the default go-to mode unless you're having chest pain, severe shortness of breath, severe belly pain, headache, symptoms of a stroke, things like that.
Yeah.
Yes, the hospital is where you should be then.
Davey had a little a finger problem where it became infected and was very swollen. We were talking to him yesterday. He, by the way, did go and they had to cut it open. But if something like that goes untreated, that can turn into something very, very serious, right?
Yeah, so hand infections can be very serious. So that's one where, and I don't know if it was a puncture wound or anything, whatever it was, but those are things that need to be addressed. So that's one where going to the hospital is the right thing to do because maybe that you just need some oral antibiotics. More likely you may need what he had, which was an incision of drainage of some infected material and possibly some IV antibiotics, at least to start with. So, those are the kinds of things that the hospitals really do and the emergency departments really do a bang-up job on.
I'm just going to read this comment because, and I won't use the full name, but and I'd like your take on it because I do hear it. The doc does know masks don't help because bacteria and viruses are held by the fabric. How do you respond to that?
So again, this goes back to what we learned over the first 9 months or year of COVID, which is that if you're having a regular cloth mask, a knit mask, something like that, that the ability of droplets to go through that is actually pretty good, and they really don't offer much protection at all, either for the wearer or for the people around the wearer. But if you're wearing a surgical mask, what we have, which has a vapor barrier in it, then it is absolutely true that that captures, your droplets and things like that. That's why you want to wear it.
Yeah.
And it keeps them from being transmitted out into the atmosphere so that somebody who is around you could then breathe them in. It keeps them trapped. It's not perfect. Again, just like we talked about, I think, last week, if you look at it from a population standpoint, they're about 70% effective, but they are effective.
I want to go back to last week with my, it was by the day after Christmas I was dealing with COVID symptoms, and it lasted for about 9 or 10 days before I was done feeling symptomatic, which is a little longer than I guess the average for today. But I have heard from more people, and I appreciate everybody's concern. Several people saying you should do something to improve your health. You never should have gotten COVID 4 times. So, what are your thoughts? Is it abnormal to have gotten COVID 3 or 4 times?
So it really isn't. I mean, a lot of it depends on your lifestyle. I mean, you're out in the community a lot. You travel down to the city, with your, to see your daughter and stuff like that. So is it surprising that someone with your lifestyle, would get COVID more than once, or maybe even more than what is quote unquote normal, whatever normal is? No, not really. Thankfully you haven't had an overly severe case which required hospization or anything like that. But no, I would say that's not too surprising. If somebody lives in a bubble and never goes out, and I'm not advocating this, then their chances of getting COVID are significantly less. And if they were getting it, 4 or 5 times, then I would say, boy, what's going on with your immune system?
Yeah.
But no, I would not, jump on that as, oh my gosh, you should get checked out to make sure your antibodies are working properly, et cetera, et cetera.
I will say it also doesn't help having a wife who is an elementary school teacher.
Oh, no.
Because you're just coming in contact with especially, second grade kids are still younger, and stuff gets spread in those classrooms. She's had it at least 3 times. Here's the other part of this. We all know somebody, don't we, that found out they had COVID because they had to test. This happened a lot during COVID.
Yeah.
Where in order to go somewhere, you had to bring a negative test. Well, they test, and they test positive. Turns out they had it, but absolutely no symptoms whatsoever. So you think about the number of people who have had it and didn't even know they had it.
Exactly right. Or that might have had it, 2 or 3 times, but only knew about it once because that was the one that actually generated enough symptoms for them to take notice. Yeah, this is a disease that, again, we are 4 years into this now, but we're still learning. And I think I said way back when it's going to take us between 5 and 10 years before we have a good handle on the totality of this disease.
Yeah.
So.
I want to go back. Amber is continuing to message me here, and the only thing I would say about masks is, number one, at a time during COVID, of course, we were all, people were using bandanas as masks, and that was checking the box that needed to be checked in order to go into a place.
Yeah.
Obviously, a medical grade N95 mask would be what is advised, I would assume. And the other part of this is, at the end of the day, wearing a mask for too long, I think we discussed this, is something that was probably done, which wasn't good. And the other part is, doctors and nurses, when they go into surgery, if masks are bad, why do doctors and nurses wear them when they go into surgery?
Yeah, you make a number of very good points there. So certainly, like the bandanas and things like that was, people thought that any kind of a barrier would be good, and we learned that that's not true, that you need to have some kind of a vapor barrier. The N95 masks are better even than the surgical masks. because they filter out ever smaller particles. I will also say, from having worn N95 masks for extended periods of time, they're not all that comfortable.
No, not at all.
So it's not the kind of thing that you want to be wearing all the time. And the point of, if masks don't work, then why do we wear them in surgery? Well, I think that speaks for itself.
Mike says, I'm sorry, Bill, but if you got COVID 4 times, you're just a slow learner. So he may be right. So,
Dr. Hall, this is a listener question that Smitty just handed me. This person wanted to know about the wait last week's in the ER department. I know that led to some issues with people finding rooms and other issues. What can you tell us about that, and has that been resolved?
Yeah, so thank you for that, because this is really something that I think is important for the community to hear, which is that we certainly have been going through some growing pains related to moving into the Wynn and bringing those 2 emergency departments into a single emergency department with 80,000 visits a year plus minus, and we can and are doing a better job. We're actually meeting on a daily basis to look at what are our processes and how do we improve them. There will always be, so I've done emergency medicine now for 40 years, and I will tell you that no matter how well run an emergency department is, if you get an influx of a large number of patients in a short period of time, things are going to bog down. And that's just the reality of the situation. But you work through that in an appropriate way to make sure that you are, taking care of each patient as an individual. But we know that we can improve, and we are working to improve what our processes are in the emergency department, both on the front end when people are coming in and on the back end. I will tell you, so I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I will tell you that from the time a patient comes into the emergency department until the time that they're seen by a doctor, so on average, last week, so this is the week of Monday through Sunday, the average amount of time was 22 minutes.
Wow.
So that's okay. I actually would prefer if it was 15, but I'm a little bit of a stickler. But 22 minutes is not overly bad. The other thing that I would say is that the larger the emergency department is, by larger I mean the more patients that it sees, that type of process tends to take longer, simply because if the triage time takes 10 minutes, but you only get 3 patients an hour, that's pretty standard. But if you end up getting 12 patients an hour, it still takes 10 minutes per patient. And so you need to factor that in, and we factor that in with adding more staff, et cetera, et cetera. But we can do better, and I will be the first to admit that we are very hyper focused on just that, on really doing a much better job.
Easy in Ilion, they limit airflow, talking about masks. Surgical masks only good if you exchange them constantly, regularly, and not wear them over and over again. An N90 mask, or N95, can only be worn for a certain period of time before they become harmful and should not be reused. I'm assuming you agree with that.
Yeah, I would. Early on, again, in COVID with N95 masks, not so much with the surgical mask, but with the N95 mask, there were shortages. And so we actually, through the CDC and some testing that was done, we did find ways to actually be able to reuse them by sterilizing them. We don't need to do that now because we have an abundant supply.
And Michael, one more. Michael says, I've heard that bandanas worked really well if you're going into a convenience store looking to make a cash withdrawal. Oh, boy. All right, Doc, thank you so much, and we'll speak again next week. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody, and please be safe.
You do the same. Dr. Kent
All
Hall
right, Doc.
with Wynn Hospital. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. The Falcon Clinic is the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. The fact is, yes, medicine, physicians can help you recover and allow you to get over whatever it is that ails you. But at the same time, you can also heal by utilizing your body. Your body plays a huge role in the healing of your body. That's the osteopathic approach. And that is the Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. Dr. Shemaleski was an ER physician for several years. He, along with Dr. Zielinski, Dr. Zalewski, and others, all under one roof at the Falcon Clinic. If you're in need of a new family doctor, they have you covered. Call today at 315-507. If you have a sore finger, Davey, the Falcon Clinic has you covered. 315-507-4751. The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills. The official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Daylight Donuts, coffee, espresso, lattes, iced coffee. Their breakfast sandwich is delicious. Do you know that they make their donuts fresh at daylight every morning?
You can tell.
Right there in New Hartford.
You can tell.
Can tell.
Yep.
And if you're lucky enough to get in after they've done the glazed donuts, and they're still warm, oh my. It's something. That drive-through is lightning fast. You're in, you're out, you're on your way. It's Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford. Davey, let's do Hobika's free money question of the day. And this morning, we're going to be looking at a jackpot. Are you staying with 100? Hobika's gotten to you, hasn't he? Yeah. What's the jackpot?
$100.
$100.
Hobika said, if you think your finger's bad now.
That's right. I'm going to cut it off.
Give away more than $100.
All right, a C note. You can walk away with a C note this morning. And you're looking for caller number what, Davey?
7.
Seventh caller. We're still looking for our first winner of 2024. Caller 7 right now at 315-736-0186 at WIBX.
Adirondack Home Furniture wants to help transform your home in the new year. Their pieces have timeless design and incredible craftsmanship. Their furniture is the type of furniture that gets passed down from generation to generation. For over 45 years, Adirondack Home Furniture has been providing quality and comfort to Central New York. From American-made pieces to top designers, they have everything you need for any space. Whether you're looking to redo your living room, dining room, bedroom, kids' rooms, or just looking for some pieces to pull the look together, like quality lamps, rugs, and pictures, Adirondack Home Furniture is the place to shop. Adirondack Home Furniture has non-commissioned salespeople, which means you enjoy a relaxing, low-pressure shopping experience. They also pride themselves on their unmatched customer service and attention to detail. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and transform your home for the new year. Riverside Center in North Utica, or go to AdirondackHomeFurniture.com.
Whitesboro Central School District is looking for bus drivers to join their team. Whitesboro is a leading school system in Central New York with 7 schools, 3,100 students, and holding a 92% graduation rate. You can help drive our students' success. When you drive for Whitesboro, you get great benefits, a flexible schedule, and summers off. Perfect for retirees with extra time. Help drive our future leaders with Whitesboro Central School Transportation. Call Andy at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage. 20 Wood Road, Whitesboro.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Ready for a smoother, safer ride? Look to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Tallman's and their professional staff is there for answers, advice, and quality tires at a great price. And right now, Tallman's, when you purchase 4 Summit tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free. Summit tires are great quality and your best value in Central New York. And free installation when you purchase 4 tires is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. This offer ends January 31st, 2024. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com. Get ready for this week's half-off Thursday deal with SeizeTheDeal.com. Score your half-off gift certificate to Tom Cavallo's Restaurant this Thursday morning starting at 8 a.m. Get $50 for $25 with Seize the Deal's half-off Thursday. Tom Cavallo's Restaurant in New Hartford, known for their great daily specials, wings, and great happy hours, trivia nights on Thursday, and legendary fish fries on Fridays. Online at Cavallos.com. Get your half-off Thursday gift certificates this Thursday from Tom Cavallo's Restaurant. Hurry, they sell out fast at SeizeTheDeal.com.
Snow, rain, sun. Could be anyone. Bobcat and Warner Sales and Service can help you get your jobs done in all kinds of weather. Bobcat machines, including skid steer loaders, track loaders, and excavators, are fast, maneuverable, and deliver plenty of traction for working in deep snow, slippery surfaces, and mud. We know all about that in Central New York. So whether it is snow or mud that won't quit, you won't have to quit either thanks to Bobcat. Push it to the limit with Bobcat machines and attachments from Warner Sales and Service, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona. Or visit us on the web at warnerss.com.
Are you or a loved one dealing with physical issues? Are you about to have a corrective surgery? Be prepared and take the stress out of recovery. Visit Home and Hospital Medical Supply in the new Hartford Shopping Center. From mobility aids to home safety equipment, they carry it all. Whether it's a heating pad for back relief or a knee brace for that sports injury, they now even have light therapy equipment to fight seasonal depression. Home and Hospital Medical Supply. Care with convenience. Online at hnhmedicalny.com.
Why get an updated COVID vaccine? If you're 65 or older, a COVID vaccine can keep you out of the hospital. And if you have heart disease, a COVID vaccine can help you stay healthy. With COPD or other lung diseases, getting a COVID vaccine can keep you off a ventilator. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But some people are more at risk. Know your risk and make sure you're up to date on your COVID vaccine. A message from the New York State Health Department.
For a limited time at Mattress Express, qualified buyers will get 60 months to pay on any purchase $1,500 or higher with no money down. That includes all brands of mattresses in the store and massage chairs. See store for details.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right. All right, Davey. Who'd you get for us? Free money question of the day. We do it every day. Comes from the Hobika law firm, Joseph and Andrew Hobika, at 315-724-1600 for all of your legal needs.
I can call this guy my friend. He's a great guy. Conservative John from Boonville.
All right, so he's a friend of yours.
Yes, he is.
Now, you know the answers and the questions of every...
You cheated!
Did you cheat? Did you give him the answer?
No.
You sure?
We'll see about that, won't we?
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from Boonville, New York. John, Conservative John.
Bill!
Well, hello, John.
John from Boonville.
All right, I'm ready to be the first winner of 2024.
I just got back from New Jersey to watch a women's soccer game. Those are the calls I usually get at 2 a.m.
I snuck on the bus and can't get off.
Could you get me a hotel room?
Bail me out.
Yes, well, I've heard that a few times. All righty now, John, here's your question. You have 7 seconds to answer. Will you be our first winner for 2024?
I hope so.
I hope so, too. All right, here we go. Here's the question. This big-time celeb started his career in radio at KZOK in Seattle. He performed several stunts on air, including one that led to an $8,000 loss in advertising. Who is the celebrity? Ready, go.
I'm just based on this morning. I'm going to go with Jimmy Kimmel.
Very smart move. Very smart move.
Wow.
Yeah.
It literally pays to listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, it pays to listen.
I would say it pays to listen.
It pays to listen.
But I figured that's the one to go with.
That is exactly.
I wasn't going to pick Aaron Rodgers.
That is exactly
I
right.
don't think he was on a radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So every once in a while, a question, but the way you go is just what have they been talking about? Who have they been talking about? And Jimmy Kimmel did get his start in radio, and he apparently did a stunt that cost him $8,000 in advertising.
Yeah, and then became the biggest liberal DB on TV.
Well, listen.
I'd like to see liberal Lou call in and get a question right.
Yeah, that's right. But Conservative John got one right.
He does.
Yeah.
It's exactly.
Dumb conservatives, Jimmy Kimmel.
And
us dumb ball throwers.
And, by the way, got a Conservative John got a question right about a liberal.
How about that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, he's always right.
Because we're smart. Because we're much smarter than liberals.
Brilliant.
We just.
All right.
We have an overall knowledge of things.
All right.
We're We're good peoples.
Davey, you agree, right? You're good with John, yeah. All right, John. Well, listen, congratulations. It's $100.
Thank you very much.
And knowing that you're conservative and conservative with money, I know you're going to invest that money, and it'll be $20,000 by the time you're done with it. So
I'll be going straight to the turning stone with it.
There you go.
And turn
Put
it
it all on black
to $20,000. I love it. All right, John. Stand by. Davey's going to hook you up. All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Goodbye,
Thank you.
Bill.
Goodbye, John.
So I do want
John is the first winner of 2024.
Yeah, congratulations. He's hoping that he won't be the only conservative winner in 2024.
He is. I'm just waiting. Who's the conservative that's going to be running? That's just my opinion. Is it Nikki Haley? She'd be a conservative.
Bill Morehouse did hear Lance from Lee's comment.
So this was the question earlier. Lance said, would he please let us know how much of the ARPA money has been spent? And are we asking also what it was spent on?
Yeah, so his comment was...
Dog parks and...
Could you please ask how much ARPA money remains, as well as where I can find ARPA spending details online? And Mr. Morehouse said, well, glad I caught that. I was just feeding the dogs and turned on WIBX. We met with the mayor yesterday.
Nice, okay.
And we will be giving him a full accounting of ARPA money, and we will be happy to release that to the public also.
All right, good stuff.
We get things done here.
Do you want me to play? Should we play anything?
Yeah, you can play some more.
Play a little more of these.
I know you don't like it, but I think it sounds great.
The old audio. Let's see. I'm just going through. So the way we used to do it is we would write on the box of the reel-to-reel who we were calling, and I've got their phone number, their address, everything here. I wonder how many people still live in these addresses or have the same. So this was a call, a crank call, and I'm not going to play it, but it was a crank call to Natalie from Richfield Springs, and she worked at Record Giant.
Wow.
Do you remember Record Giant, Davey?
Oh, I remember Record Giant.
Yeah. I don't know. Were they all over, or were they just? I knew there was one in the Valley at Faze Mall in Ilion.
I remember that one.
Yep.
There was one in Rome, I think, too.
I think there was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know there was, because where Runnings is now, there used to be a plaza there. That used to be the Home Depot.
Yeah.
There used to be a sign that says Record Giant on it.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember listing up music stores and The Last Unicorn and all them.
The Last Unicorn, Mr. C's,
Record Town.
Oh, this is an old tape. Open with TV report on firing. I wonder if that's me being fired.
It could be that, or no, it wasn't Hannah. He can't be fired.
Oh, here's a whole bunch of crank calls. Carlos De La Rosa crank call. Bonnie Hibbard singing. The song parody called "I Ain't Got a Hot Body."
I can relate to that.
Lucia doing the news.
Oh, I heard from Lucia over the holiday.
Luke Michaels is on steroids. You remember Luke Michaels? Luke Michaels was the TV guy.
Yeah, at WTR.
That was a song. Cuomo got run over by a reindeer. Okay.
Mario Cuomo, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Let's see if this is the one. Carlos De La Rosa. Hold on. That's the wrong one. Try this one. Okay, let's see if I can get some audio off this one. This has got some pretty interesting stuff on it. Oh, is it just a PDF? It must be it. This must be it. Let's see if this is it. All right, so this is all raw audio. I don't know what I'm going to play. This is old stuff from the old days of radio. I got like 3 minutes. I can squeeze some stuff in.
I'm looking for Carlos De La Rosa, please.
Sam speaking.
I live in the village, and I understand you're the one with the Alaskan Husky.
Oh, I got a Siberian Husky, that's right.
Right. Do you have the puppies?
Oh, yeah, I got puppies, but they're about 3 days old.
I understand that, but I'm calling to tell you that my dog is the daddy.
Oh, your dog is the daddy?
Yes.
How you found out?
Well, I did a little bit of action, and I've seen my dog hanging around your place, and spoke with your wife earlier today, and she said that it looks like my dog's the daddy.
Oh, he's a big brown dog.
Yes, a brown...
Square head.
I'm the father-in-law, I guess, of your dogs.
Yeah.
So listen, I've been having a little problem.
Yeah.
The dog has been very depressed.
He wants visiting rights?
We want visitation rights, yes. Is there any way we can bring the dog over? Because he's been depressed as hell.
This guy was the perfect guy for this call, right?
Yeah.
Sir, this is not a laughing matter.
Oh, boy.
Now, yeah, I don't know how this thing ends, and I'm afraid there might be a swear word in the end. So.
Yeah, right. So so you would set it up where somebody else would call. So like Carlos's friend would say, "Hey, you got to get Carlos. He's got these puppies, and you gotta get them."
Correct. So I think his wife in that case is the one who set him up.
Okay.
In that case. All right, let's see what we have here.
Love, a rep looks like new.
I don't know what that is.
Painting real hard. Well, we're too stressed to sleep. And find we're all out of job.
That's just got to be horrible. I don't even. Some of this stuff is just so bad. How did we ever air it?
This didn't make the cut.
No. What's this?
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment, I'm going to dial through. I received a telephone call the other day from a woman by the name of Stacy. Her husband on the side does roofing work and stuff like that.
All right, that's another crank call. We have all of this stuff I have all of this stuff to go through, and there's just so much there. And what's so interesting? Oh, here it is. This is the advantage will when others won't crank. Let me see if I can play a little piece of this.
Yeah, you can go to the top.
Yes, I'm looking for Larry Fiorentino.
Speaking.
I listen to your commercials, and it says you will when others won't. And I'm wondering if I can get an insurance policy.
For auto insurance?
Auto insurance, yes.
Okay, let me get a quote sheet. Hold on.
I was told to talk with you. I don't want to talk to quote sheet.
No, I got a quote sheet. I got to take information.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In the past 40 months, have you had any accidents or violations?
Probably about 10 tickets.
What kind of tickets?
I hit a deer.
Okay, now...
I hit a deer, but that was with my lawn tractor. And I don't know if that would... I did get a ticket because I was driving my tractor on the road. It's a garden tractor. I mow the lawn with it.
So you had an unlicensed vehicle on the road?
Yeah, but I have a snowmobile engine on it. It really moves.
Okay, do you recall how fast you were going?
How fast I was going or how fast he said I was going?
How fast he said you were going?
Well, he said I was going 85, but there's no way. There is no way I was doing 85.
Anything else?
Well, there was a fender bender about 6 months ago.
Okay.
But it wasn't my fault.
It wasn't your fault?
Because this guy was driving down the road in a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. And the guy's driving down the road doing 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of bumped him in the butt.
Okay.
But I'm saying that most of these things were not my fault, so that should be taken into consideration. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever.
Okay. Anything else?
Because I'm a safe driver, and I'm very careful, and I always look in my mirrors every so many seconds, in my rearview mirror. Every once in a while, though, I get offensive, and that's probably where my problem comes in.
Okay.
All right, enough of that. Ah, those days where we just sat around and did stupid stuff. Craziness. Got a break, hold tight. It's 7:59. News straight ahead at WIBX.
Boeing's bolts are driving airlines nuts. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. United and Alaska have both found issues with door plugs on the same type of Boeing MAX 9 jet now grounded since the door plug blew off an Alaska flight Friday, leaving a gaping hole and passengers fearing the worst.
United saying in a statement, quote, since we began preliminary inspections on Saturday, we have found instances that appear to relate to installation issues in the door plug. For example, bolts that needed additional tightening. These findings will be remedied by our tech ops team to safely return the the aircraft to service.
Fox Business Network's Cheryl Casoni, that moonlander launched yesterday, won't be landing on the moon after all. There's been a critical fuel leak, and the unmanned spacecraft is going to lose power. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel meeting with the war cabinet and families of hostages Hamas still holds in Gaza. He says these are
incredibly challenging times for Israel, for countries in the region, and especially for people who continue to suffer.
Speaking of suffering, Israel's announced what it describes as a short humanitarian pause in fighting in Gaza to let more aid in. This days before a lawsuit alleging genocide is brought before the International Court of Justice.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. Former President Trump goes to court today, an appeals court in D.C., where he's arguing he has immunity from actions he took while president, ahead of a looming criminal trial on 2020 election-related federal charges. As his Republican 2024 rival Nikki Haley tells a Fox town hall in Iowa a week before the caucuses, she can beat the former president, hoping attempts to take him off ballots fail.
If they can do this to him, they'll do it to someone else.
Haley's just 7 points back of Trump in New Hampshire in a new CNN UNH poll. Ron DeSantis has a Fox town hall tonight. Tomorrow there's a Trump town hall also from Iowa. Hail to the victors in college football. They're in Ann Arbor, Michigan, celebrating the national championship. Michigan beat Washington last night 34-13. America's listening to Fox News.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
WIBX 950 Utica Rome, news time 8:03. I'm Andrew Dominio. Right now, it's a chilly start to the day. We are at 27 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Got that high wind warning going into effect at 1 today until 4 a.m. tomorrow. This update brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls for all your mobile home needs. It's worth the trip. Go to johnsmobilehomeparts.com for more information. It's going to be another active weather day across central New York thanks to a storm that's expected to bring strong wind gusts. The National Weather Service says that high wind warning will be in effect, as I said, 1 p.m. today until 4 a.m. tomorrow. Winds likely to knock down trees and power lines and trigger outages. National Grid says it's already prepared to help customers in need. Utica police are still investigating the first homicide to happen in the city since the beginning of 2024. On Sunday night, a 15-year-old boy was found with a gunshot wound to the head on Warren Street. First responders tried to save the victim's life, but sadly were not able to do so. Police are looking into whether the gunfire came from a vehicle and are asking witnesses to contact them immediately at 315-223-3556. Anonymous tips can always be submitted at MohawkValleyCrimeStoppers.com. Governor Kathy Hochul will be laying out her agenda for the months ahead during her State of the State address today. The governor is set to speak to members of the legislature at the state capitol in Albany. She has already revealed some proposals in the past several days, including plans to boost reading proficiency in schools, making New York a leader in AI research and innovation, and taking on the maternal and infant mortality crisis. The governor will roll out her state budget at a later date. New York State Police have released the results of a holiday season crackdown on dangerous driving. There were more than 106,000 tickets given out between December 13th and January 1st. Over 3,800 of those tickets were issued in this area alone for offenses including speeding, distracted driving, and driving while intoxicated. During last year's national DWI crackdown, state police handed out nearly 33,000 tickets and arrested over 450 people for DWI. WIBX 950 news time is 8:05. Your weather forecast. days, according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint, brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going.
My Witness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, cloudy as wet snow develops by afternoon, a slushy coating to an inch before changing to rain by evening. Then turning very windy with strong damaging gusts by evening, a high near 40. Tonight, cloudy with rain showers, windy turning milder, gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour with a high wind warning in effect. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950. And 106.9 FM.
27 degrees under mostly cloudy skies here in Marcy at 8:06. Sports brought to you by Home and Hospital Medical Supplies and Service. Carrying a wide selection of home medical equipment. Call them at 315-724-6767. Online, they're at h&hmedicalny.com. The Michigan Wolverines are the college football playoff national champions. Michigan defeated Washington 34-13 in the championship game at NRG Stadium from Houston. Blake Corum rushed for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns in the victory. The Wolverines earned their first national title since '97. Michael Penix Jr. passed for 255 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks in the losing effort for Washington, who suffered their first loss of the season, falling to 14-1. The college football playoff is in advanced talks to stay on ESPN. The network reported Monday both sides are in negotiations to make the 4-letter as the sole rights holder for the event over the next 8 years. ESPN is considering paying approximately $1.3 billion for the extension, which would begin during the 2026 season. The Washington Commanders have fired head coach Ron Rivera. The Giants will have to start looking for a new defensive coordinator this offseason. According to ESPN, Wink Martindale is expected to resign as the Giants' defensive coordinator. And Bill Belichick is giving an update on his situation with the Patriots as the team heads into the offseason. New England's head coach told reporters Monday he remains under contract and will do what he can to help the team win next season. The 71-year-old said he will have a meeting with owner Robert Kraft, which he has done several times after seasons in past years. Belichick also said he would consider giving up control over team personnel if the organization collectively decides it's in his best interest to remain on the team. And finally, Tiger Woods is leaving Nike after a nearly 30-year partnership. In a social media post, the golf star thanked Nike founder Phil Knight for his passion and vision. Woods signed with Nike at the age of 20 when he turned professional. Nike acknowledged Tiger's contribution to golf in a social media post, saying he challenged his competition, stereotypes, conventions, and the old-school way of thinking. Tiger also confirmed there will be another chapter in his career, ending his post with "See you in L.A., most likely referencing the Genesis Invitational scheduled for next month. WIBX 950 News Time, 8:08.
So who was the guy the other day that had a conspiracy theory, sent you the pictures?
It was
Easy, an alien, right?
No, it was
John and Clark Mills, yeah.
Yeah, John and Clark Mills.
Because he said, I knew Bill would just dismiss it. I'm really not dismissing. I just don't buy into the theory that everything's fixed in the NFL. I don't buy that.
It kind of is impossible. If you
for
really think about it.
For everything that you can point to and say, see, it's fixed, there's something else that you could point to and be like, it isn't.
Can you make an argument that there is partiality for referees? Yes.
I think that Eagles-Bills game was horrific. I couldn't believe how bad that was.
There have been a lot. And
I'll
even say...
in fact, that ref team, what's his name, was the referee for that.
Oh,
his father's also a referee. I don't know his name. Yeah. They said that when his
Brad
team...
Allen's the one that's really under fire lately.
When his team was officiating the Eagles game, they almost always won. Now, the Eagles were winning. They were 10-0, right? So
yeah, and there was
whatever.
There are several instances this season. I'll even go back to a Green Bay game where we got some favorable calls. I mean, the Chiefs would have had to have had a lot of stuff happen in their favor had it not been for the refs. But there were some calls this season in several games that were game deciders, and that should not be the case.
So here's a new conspiracy theory, but I don't think this is a conspiracy theory, and I agree that this is probably true. There's been a lot of buzz concerning this year's decision by the NFL to feature a playoff game that's exclusive to the Peacock streaming network. Now, we have Peacock, so it's not going to affect us.
And I don't think the Bills will be in that game.
No. The Bills are playing the 1 o'clock game on Sunday. Yeah. This is Saturday night. and it's the Chiefs-Dolphins, right?
The only time we were on Peacock, Andrew, was on the 27th of December when we played the Chargers on that Saturday night.
And that was only Peacock.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, many fans seem to resent the fact that they've got to subscribe to a new streaming service just to watch a football game. Even Kansas City Chiefs defensive lineman Charles Omenihu, how do you say his name?
No idea.
Got in on the talk saying, us playing on Peacock only is insane, I won't lie. Then, here's the conspiracy theory. Why do you think all 6 of this weekend's wildcard games, of all of them, the Peacock game ended up being the Dolphins-Chiefs? They're saying, and I don't think this is a conspiracy theory, I think this is probably absolutely true. They're saying it's because of Taylor Swift.
To drive
so
people
most
to
likely
see...
Taylor Swift will be at the game, and they're getting extra people watching the games because they, believe it or not, this Taylor Swift is so big that people are watching. Women oftentimes, or young people, are watching because they love Taylor Swift so much. They're Swifties, and
They will sign up for Peacock
They'll
to
sign
watch
up
her.
for Peacock
I don't doubt it.
A glimpse of Taylor Swift and see what she's doing.
Well, think about Al Michaels.
I do not doubt that at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think it's marketing on the part of NBC. And I think, think about their firing or getting rid of or parting ways prematurely with Al Michaels. He was supposed to be, I think.
Yeah, but Al Michaels was back the next week. He just took Thanksgiving off.
I don't think he was doing stuff for NBC.
He's not.
He was doing Thursday Night Football on Prime.
Oh, on Prime. Okay.
Which is different.
Right.
So I think he was going to be doing
that's
some
why
NBC
they got rid
stuff.
of him? Really? Whatever.
Because I think his comment
made a comment
was,
like, this is basically ridiculous.
Don't make the sideshow the main show.
Yeah. Okay, Super Bowl odds. Do you care to hear these? What the odds are now after this past weekend? San Francisco 49ers lead the way, according to Vegas, to become Super Bowl champions.
That's interesting.
Plus 220. Baltimore Ravens plus 310. The Bills plus 650. Dallas plus 750. The Chiefs are plus 1,000.
I think I like that Bills. I like the Bills odds.
Plus 650.
Yeah.
So if you were to bet, correct me if I'm wrong, if you were to bet $100, you'd win 650 if the Bills win.
Yeah.
Now, the bet that you really want would
Smitty
be...
says when they win.
What you want is to bet the Pittsburgh Steelers and hope that they win, which they're never going to. That's plus 12,000. A $100 bet would get you 12 grand.
Listen, why not? What's Green Bay's odds? What's Green Bay's odds? I might throw 100 on that.
Listen, Green Bay plus 9,000.
It's not bad.
They're
putting in better odds than the Steelers.
To me, that's the bet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the Green Bay Packers are the most underrated team out there.
That's a good point. They're, again, taking my partiality out of it. They are the youngest team. The offense is, really, I don't think Jordan Love has gotten enough credit because of some of the defensive woes.
I think the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers are two teams that you don't want to play. How about the Dolphins and Eagles? Both have even odds. Their odds are the same. Plus 1,600 to win the. That's pretty low. Because I don't think either one of those teams has a shot. And Miami going into Kansas City, but it's
going to be like single digits in Kansas City.
The bet, I feel, and what do I know? Nothing. The bet would be the Green Bay Packers plus 9,000. If you were to put, $200 on there, you're walking away with almost 20 grand.
Let's do it.
So there you go. And it's easy for Andrew because he's a Green Bay Packers fan. So pretty cool. Let me break. We'll come back. 8:14. Whole bunch to get to this hour, including Farmer Ben, Katie Aiello, a Common Council member. There's a back and forth going on with her and Samantha Testa.
Oh, yeah.
It's great that, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8:15 at WIBX.
COVID vaccine? If you're 65 or older, a COVID vaccine can keep you out of the hospital. And if you have heart disease, a COVID vaccine can help you stay healthy. With COPD or other lung diseases, getting a COVID vaccine can keep you off a ventilator. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But some people are more at risk. Know your risk and make sure you're up to date on your COVID vaccine. A message from the New York State Health Department.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for the past 52 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingsheadsantique.com.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Ready for a smoother, safer ride? Look to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Tallman's and their professional staff is there for answers, advice, and quality tires at a great price. And right now, Tallman's, when you purchase 4 Summit tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free. Summit tires are great quality and your best value in Central New York. And free installation when you purchase 4 tires is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. This offer ends January 31st, 2024. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com.
Whitesboro Central School District is looking for bus drivers to join their team. Whitesboro is a leading school system in Central New York with 7 schools, 3,100 students, and holding a 92% graduation rate. You can help drive our students' success. When you drive for Whitesboro, you get great benefits, a flexible schedule, and summers off. Perfect for retirees with extra time. Help drive our future leaders with Whitesboro Central School Transportation. Call Andy at 315-768-9740 or stop by the garage, 20 Wood Road, Whitesboro.
Hey, it's snowing. All right.
Said no one, ever. Snow in Central New York blocks driveways, sidewalks, and parking lots, immobilizing everything. That's why you can count on Warner Sales and Service for the equipment you need to clear snow with speed. Bobcat machines like skid steer loaders, track loaders, and the Toolcat are fast and easy to maneuver with tons of traction for fast clearing action. When snow's gotta go, trust Warner Sales and Service, where quality still counts. Just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Z-Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today.
Log on or give us a call today at whitesfarmsupply.com.
White's Farm Supply.
Oneida County Office of Continuing Care has immediate openings for program nurses, starting at over $59,000. Nurses work a 35-hour week, conducting patient screenings and home health assessments. Join our team and make a difference. Apply today at oneidacountyjobs.com.
At Mattress Express, get a queen flex head bed with adjustable base and a set of sheets for $14.99. Qualified buyers get no money down and up to 60 months to pay. A flex head bed is where each head goes up and down independently, but it's still one solid mattress. See store for details.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, it's 8:19 at WIBX, and Joe Cardinale is with us right now. Joe is retired NYPD. He was a lieutenant commander with the New York City Police Department, and school districts around the country are now trying to find new ways to keep their students safe, and I think this is probably inevitable. This is coming. Joe Cardinale, good morning.
Good morning.
So, artificial intelligence to improve security. I feel like this could very well be a game changer. What do you think?
It already is a game changer. Yeah. It's been implemented in countries like China to, a degree like we haven't seen here yet.
Right.
I mean, over in China, they have a network. It's, it concerns deep neural networks. What they do is they'll take 10,000 cameras and they'll put it out there and they'll compile all that data. All right, and it'll pick up something such as an unattended bag at an airport or a vehicle in an area, a secure area that shouldn't be there, and it immediately alerts it. The difference is over in China, it goes unchallenged. It's accepted as everything else is over there. And over here in America, in the United States, we challenge things. The Civil Liberties Union has challenged facial recognition through AI, and it challenges it in court. So my thing is you don't want to lose it in the courts, so you should have law enforcement component attached to it immediately to make it a 1-2 punch that they need. It's here to stay, as you said.
I agree. And listen, I'm a rights person. I feel your civil rights, your free speech, all that. I'm so big on that. And oftentimes we'll side with something that isn't as popular because I feel like you enter the slippery slope world. And maybe that's possible here with this facial recognition. But at a time when, we're dealing with the potential of terrorism, you're dealing with, there's so much that there's just not enough law enforcement out there to be able to accomplish the goals to keep people safe. So airports,
what's the balance?
Airports is a great example. So if you can prevent a guy with a bomb or with bad intentions getting on an airplane using facial recognition, I kind of feel like I'm okay with giving up some privacy there. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Big Brother's been watching for so long. I mean, it's just to a different degree right now. We do need it because the police departments, because of what's going on across this country, are stretched thin as it is, especially here in New York City. We're at numbers that we've never seen before in the NYPD, so low. All right, but in a city such as this, you would welcome something like that. But my thing is you always need the human component to go along with it because you need that, like I said, that 1-2 punch. I mean, let's look at it this way, too. It's great for facial recognition for missing person cases, for human trafficking cases, for missing children. That years later it can compile the nature of the facial similarities years later. It can do that. And not only that, they actually use it in some countries to pick up fake handbags like the Fendis and everything else. It can actually detect that as well. But the thing is, there's always the human component behind it that enters all the logarithms to make it work. And that's what gets challenged in this country. And like you said, I'd rather have a school shooter stopped ahead of time because of something picked up by facial recognition or an abnormality in what that student's doing or the bag coming in or whatever, and then deal with it later on. But at least you prevented another mass shooting. But the other side to that coin is let's stop making schools the soft targets they are and make them hard targets to begin with.
I'm there. One thing I hope they never do is start timing us from exit to exit on the New York State Thruway.
Oh, they're already doing that.
I know, and they got to.
It's only a matter of time before those tickets start rolling.
They're going to be there. I know they're sitting there like, how did he get from there to there so quickly? And I don't want that.
Well, pretty soon with the flying cars, like, the Jetsons are coming. Everything is coming. You have the Zager and Evans song that's coming about. You got the Minority Report, the movie that's coming out. You have Red Dawn that's coming about. You have all these movies that are coming out.
That's right.
It's that are out that, we're coming to with this AI. I got iRobot's the next one. So.
Well, interesting stuff. So, in this case, boy, now here's an area where I would be uncomfortable with it. And if you let the market determine, I believe it was Starbucks that was using AI, and they were using it for sales purposes. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So
I
frequent
really think
customers
there has to be
and
some regulations to this. I really do.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And you got to have Congress step in. That's why Congress should be ahead of the game with this, and it should be bipartisan across the board to protect us, because China is so far ahead of the game with this of what they're doing right now. And like I said, it's rammed down the people's throats over there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're over here. It's not an accepted practice, and rightfully so. It should be accepted to the degree you just spoke about, where it's going to, stop a bombing, stop this one, stop anything that's great until it gets challenged and you pick up the wrong person. There's already been court challenges on a racial aspect of this. So,
Interesting. All right, Joe. Interesting stuff. Listen. There's not a parent out there that wouldn't want to see their kid in a safer situation than what they currently are today. I think you're going to see this as the real future in schools. Interesting. Thank you as always, Joe. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime. You have a Happy New Year.
You do the same. Happy New Year. Can I do a little bit before we break?
Sure.
Are you rolling your eyes at me?
No,
I
just rolled my head.
Just rolled your eyes.
my head.
All right, I just wanted to get into this this whole video that's being circulated that clearly was not done by the Trump team, but Donald Trump shared it on his Truth Social. Yeah. And it's a ripoff of Paul Harvey. Good day.
Maybe he's been listening here.
Right. We've been doing it too. It's a ripoff of Paul Harvey, and the Paul Harvey on the eighth day, on the eighth day, God created the farmer. This is taking that
with our next guest
and
coming
stealing from it. So, and to me, it's poorly written and it's ridiculous. And I also think it's a little bit dangerous to be implying that God has chosen which presidential candidate he would like elected in the United States, right? I already know God is a Bills fan, and I'm pretty right, Davey. I think we're sure of that. He and Jesus are going to be there 1 o'clock on Sunday morning. It's a day of rest after church. You know where they're going to be. But this is basically saying God created Trump. And it's funny because you can tell there are ways to do this and make it sound really good.
Yeah.
This is not one of them. You'll notice that the punctuation is off. The phrases are off a little bit. It's awkward sounding at times. It doesn't quite sound like Paul Harvey, but check this out.
1946, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God gave us Trump. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, fix this country, work all day, fight the Marxists, eat supper, then go to the Oval Office and stay past midnight at a meeting of the heads of state. So God made Trump. I need somebody with arms, strong enough to rustle the deep state, and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild.
Small hands, but big arms.
The feathers, tame, cantankerous World Economic Forum, come home hungry, have to wait until the First Lady is done with lunch with friends, then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon, and mean it.
This is awesome.
The writing on this is just unbelievable. Do you notice the spacing, the tempo, the where punctuation is? It doesn't sound all that. To give you an idea, the exact same thing could be created right here in the studio.
And on the eighth day, God created Trump. Hello, America. This might just be the worst version of artificial intelligence out there today.
And it is. I can't believe Trump actually retweeted that.
Well, of all the things he's done, if you're surprised at that, then
all right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Really been paying attention.
Anyway, that's out there, and you can check it out. But I'll play in a little bit because we're going to have Farmer Ben come in. I'll play the original bit where this actually is ripped off from. And it was that on the eighth day, God created the farmer, the American farmer.
Amen to that.
And it's a classic piece from the legendary, one of my favorite people in the world, who's no longer with us, by the way, Paul Harvey. Good day. It's 8:29 at WIBX.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax-confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Ready for a smoother, safer ride? Look to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Tallman's and their professional staff is there for answers, advice, and quality tires at a great price. And right now, Tallman's, when you purchase 4 Summit tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free. Summit tires are great quality and your best value in Central New York. And free installation when you purchase 4 tires is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. This offer ends January 31st, 2024. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Roman Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 800 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 800. LumeDeodorant.com, code 800 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 800.
Remember the simple days of the home phone? You never misplaced that phone or lost a call because of spotty internet or bad reception. It was right there and always reliable, even in emergencies. Well, the home phone is back and better than ever with Community Phone. Community Phone offers landline home phone service starting at just $39 a month. And now get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-714-5864. There are no contracts. You don't need internet. You can make unlimited nationwide calls, and your phone works, even if you lose power. Plus, you can keep your current phone number or get a new one. With Community Phone, you'll enjoy all the modern conveniences of caller ID, voicemail, spam call blocking, and more. Today, get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-714-5864. Call 1-866-714-5864 today to get 50% off. 1-866-714-5864.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
The Fed's new FedNow system is all about surveillance and control. Secure your assets today with something Washington cannot manipulate. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon, and I recommend diversifying your retirement into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get a free info kit by texting the word Safeguard to 989898. Do this right now. Text Safeguard to the number 989898 and get a free info kit from Birch Gold. There's no obligation or purchase required.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, River Hills Properties is the #1 independent real estate agency in all of Central New York. #2 for 2024 when you're talking about the big chains combined in there. #2, this was an agency that didn't exist 15 years ago. Bill and Robin Monjo wanted to create something that was different, that offered extra services and a special level of full service for people looking to sell their homes. Because we all know selling a home can be very, very stressful and very emotional. Having somebody on your side every step of the way plays such a big role. Andrew, if you were to think right now, and I know you could do this, think of there's one person in your mind right now who was the most emotional, who didn't want to sell their home, but they had to, and they chose you to help sell the house.
Well, probably.
Is there somebody in your mind?
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's because there is always the emotional component to memories that are there.
Yeah. Your family was brought up in the house.
I just recently closed on a property. I sold a home for a gentleman whose parents had both passed away very quickly. As it tends to happen, couples that are married a long time that are truly in love, they pass away very close to one another.
That does happen.
And their only son had to, was left with the responsibility of selling the family home. And I think he, I don't want to speak too highly of myself, but I think he was very comfortable with the fact that we're there every step of the way to help with that very difficult process.
And you think about that and that emotion that goes along with it, knowing that you have somebody on your side and working with you, doing those extra things makes all the difference in the world. They have offices in Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica. Online, it's River Hills Properties, LLC.com. Call 315-896-1009. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
Hello, everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
And on the eighth day, God created the American farmer. And that farmer's name is none other than Ben Simons. Here's Farmer Ben on the Keeler Show.
All right, there it is. Paul Harvey came out of retirement and death to actually
welcome you in.
And
Good morning.
To welcome you this morning.
Thank you, Bill. I got to tell you just quickly that that actually brings a little tear to my eye because I do remember Paul Harvey, my agriculture teacher back in New Hampshire high school. Every day at noon, they'd break for lunch at noon, and we used to eat our lunch with the ag teacher just because that was our favorite class.
And you'd listen to his...
And we listened to Paul Harvey at noon news. And
Yeah.
then at 5:30, when I was milking cows for my father-in-law, that would be 16 years old.
The rest of the story.
The rest of the story. And so by you playing that with my name on it, I got to tell you, Bill, I'm so honored, and it does bring a little tear to my eye. I thank you for that.
The original, Paul Harvey died in 2009. It's amazing he was able to endorse Trump yesterday.
He knew a true American.
Apparently. Let's not debate it.
Yeah.
Here is something that is not debatable, and it was Paul Harvey's message about the American farmer.
Yes.
And it's really so powerful. I remember hearing this on the radio. This, I believe, seems to be in an auditorium reciting it, but just check out a little piece of this entitled Paul Harvey's So God Made a Farmer. Here we go. Is it going to play? Yeah, here it is.
And on the eighth day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. I need somebody with arms strong enough to wrestle a calf and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to call hogs, tame cantankerous machinery, come home hungry, have to wait lunch until his wife's done feeding visiting ladies, then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon and mean it. So God made a farmer.
As you can tell, the one about Trump is completely ripped off from the God Made a Farmer. But that was such a powerful message and so very true, right? I mean,
it was. And even today, that was written back in the late 70s, early 80s, if I remember.
I would say probably even early 70s.
And it's so moving even today that most of your farmers that are in your communities, even though there's fewer of them, are very involved in everything within the community. Town boards, planning boards, school boards. They're still very involved.
100%.
And so it's amazing, Bill. And I just got to say that that's very, very moving for me this morning to have you play that.
Pretty
thank
wild.
you, Bill.
And again, he was right there, right for you, right here.
And on the eighth day, God created the American farmer. And that farmer's name is none other than Ben Simons. Here's Ben on the Keeler Show.
Sorry about that.
No.
Go.
It moves a tear. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Speaking of Ben, I had somebody say to me earlier this morning, I've never met a person so excited about cow manure than Ben Simons.
Well, you're the one that brought me around on that, Bill.
I did.
Yeah, that's right.
So let me just say that coming up in July, it was announced, for the first time ever, the North American Manure Expo will be held in upstate New York at the Patterson Farms in Springport, New York, in Cayuga County, July 17th through the 18th.
Yep.
Are you familiar with this expo?
I am. I got the press release, as you well did, last week that it was coming. And And traditionally, it's been held out in the Midwest. Last year, I researched it was held in Wisconsin. And what it's all about, I know it sounds like a real bleep show.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But the North American Manure Expo coming to Central New York. It sounds funny and everything, but to be honest with you guys, manure on the farm is very precious, and it's a fertilizer to the soil of the farm. We reap the harvest all the time. We keep taking the crops from the land. We have to put something back. There's nothing better to give back to the land than the manure itself, because commercial fertilizer is good, no problem, but it's made by petroleum and salts.
Yeah.
So they're the carrier of the nutrients of the fertilizer going back on soil.
Yeah.
And cow manure, and whether you're talking cows, horses, pigs, chickens, whatever livestock we have here in Central New York, manure is natural. It's all natural. And not only is it putting back some of the phosphorus and the potassium and the nitrogen back in the soils, it's also putting organic material back in the soil. And talking yesterday to Tim Winnemer, our soil nutritionist person, soil agronomist at the United County Soil Water Conservation yesterday, and he said to make sure I point out that putting manure back on the land actually holds water. It retains water back because of the nutrients in the fertilizer, in the manure, plus the organic material. And we're beginning to learn more on how to use it rather than just go out there and apply it to the ground and then the rains in the spring wash it away. We're learning more and more techniques on how to apply it, the proper time to apply it. And also there's another component that we have never talked about, Bill, on your show, and that is now they're looking at the dietary nutrition of a cow to help preserve the manure to get it to last longer in the soil. So it's a whole food chain, and it starts from the cow eating that grass to getting it back to the land.
Yeah.
So when you talk
Bill,
about,
if you remember right, you brought me in on your show when there was a lot of calls in the New Hartford area
because of the odor of the what would you call it?
The liquid
liquid
lagoons.
manure, which is really just fertilized and fermented to the point where the smell is so horrific.
It is.
But there is a company out there that can help reduce that smell, right?
Yep, and we've talked with him, you and I, and that's called Tim Kramer from Nebraska, I believe, and he owns this company that's called Pit Charger, and but there's many other ones as I've done some research, and Tim Kramer called Pit Charger. And what they do is they can put an additive in the manure that will help break down the manure quicker. What you're smelling is the bacteria fermenting in the manure.
Got it.
And it's no different than your cesspool at your house. If you break into your septic tank, it's going to smell. And that's what it is. It's the after effect of the breaking down. Now, the other thing that we're not talking about is now these very large farms, with the help of grants through this federal and the state, are capturing that smell, turning that into methane gas, running generators to be able to power on the farm and sell back to the grid. And if you go down south of Bridgewater there's a very large farm down there that has this great big huge round tank out behind the barn, and there's like a big umbrella over the top of it. It's like a big, like the Carrier out to Syracuse.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're
like
capturing.
Carrier Dome you're talking about.
Carrier Dome, thank you,
Yeah.
Bill. I get excited about some of this new technology. And they're capturing that smell, cleaning it and purifying it, running generators that produce electricity purely off the smell of that manure. And it's the same as the landfill in Ava. They're doing the same thing up there. They're capturing the gases from the fermentation of garbage, running generators to make electricity. Well, farms are starting to do it. But you need a really large farm to do that.
Which is so much better than what we were doing. Like, I remember the landfill along Route 5S between Ilion and Utica. And they used to have pipes in the ground, and it just would be a flame.
Just to burn
they were
it
just
off.
burning off the
And now they
gas.
capture that gas. Instead of making a flame, they run it through a generator, a gasoline-type generator
That's
with
cool.
spark plugs.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
And so they're starting to do that technology. And so this Manure Expo is taking some of this new technology and bringing it to central New York, upstate New York, in the large dairy area, and educating not only farmers, but nutritionists, the people that are feeding cows, the agronomists, the people that prescribe manure to be applied to land. Back in the old days, a farmer just used his own discretion to just go spread manure.
Yeah.
And it used to be, and I'm just as guilty of it, I'll be honest with you, we always would spread manure closest to the buildings, because who would want to ride in a day like today when it's windy and going to snow and rain, go to the back 40? You always, the near 40 get all the manure. Well, then everybody realized, including the government, realized that, hey, farmers, you need to not put that concentration of manure on the same fields every day, every year. Spread it out for two reasons. One, contamination purposes, runoff. Second of all, your backland is just as important as your front land. So now larger farms, basically 700 cow farmers and larger, have to go through what they call a CAFO program. And what that really does mean is concentrated animal feeding operations. And now, in order for that farmer to have a permit from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to apply manure on your land, you have to have a agronomist come out, soil sample every acre of farmland you own, and they prescribe you can put so much manure on this field. And because you're growing hay, you can put so many thousands of gallons. If you're planting corn, 10,000.
Is that required?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
But I would bet you. But I would bet you that actually saves you. It makes your soil more productive.
Makes the farm more efficient, because you're not buying commercial fertilizer, those salts and petroleum products, and buying them to your ground. You're using the nutrients that were generated from your land. So it's a restriction, it's a government mandate kind of, but you want to know something? It's making the farmer more efficient.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So you talked about the other
Andrew,
quickly.
I have a comment. Do you mind if I read the comment first and then your question? Mike says, God bless Farmer Ben's heart. He's probably one of the few that is proud that upstate New York is full of crap, so that we can have a manure expo.
well, I put on Facebook last night.
We were going somewhere there, and then it just went
I just
south.
want you to know that's a lighthearted, nice joke, and I'm honored that it's a good joke, because last night I put on my Facebook page that I was coming on your show. And late last night, my best friend, Rob Mashel, the sheriff, called me up and says, Ben, do you see the attention that you're getting about the bleep show with Keeler? But you want to know something?
Well, this show has been called that before.
Yeah,
but no, it's a lighthearted good thing that we're
it is.
educating the public, that we're not just throwing that manure out to be offensive to people.
Yeah.
It really is doing good things. And we are now learning better ways to handle the manure so it's not so offensive to our neighbors, which are our customers.
Right.
They buy our milk, they buy our beef.
If I could, Andrew.
No, it's okay.
I knew you had a really serious question. So
Well, no, because you had said something a little bit earlier when we were talking with you about different ways to spread it rather than just having the device that sprays it. What's what are some of the other ways? Is it close proximity to the closer proximity to the field, or what?
Yep. So some of the farmers now, instead of going out with an old-fashioned manure spreader and just beating it, and it was all clumps all over the field, now we're able to buy what they call side slinger manure spreaders, which literally takes semi-solid manure, which is daily spread manure, and put a light mist out on the ground. It breaks it up so fine that it's a smooth mist. Then the one that everyone's familiar with right now in our communities is liquid manure, which is just sprayed out there with just a very large tank sprayer.
You've seen it.
And that smells. Yeah. Now the new technology is direct injection, where they literally have little fingers on a plow behind the spreader, little fingers, that are going along and just injecting that liquid manure just below the top surface. So it's not exposed and it don't smell as bad because it captures it. I want you and your listeners to know that whenever you drive by a farm and you smell the manure, to a farmer, that is the smell of money.
Yeah.
Because it's our fertilizer going back in the soil.
Yeah.
But the other side of the coin is when you smell that manure, we, the farmers, are losing money because part of that nitrogen, the ingredient that really helps grass turn green, that nitrogen, is going up in the air. It's escaping. So we're losing some of our nutrients of that manure by directly applying it on the surface. So now the new technology is what they call direct injection, putting it under the ground.
Yeah. And
So
I'm
a lot
assuming
more
that
of
this expo that's going to happen will have all sorts of new technology
Absolutely.
and all of that. All right. Well, when this comes up in July, we'll maybe have some guests in here. Maybe you can bring in a few people to
explain what's
what's happening.
Yeah,
All right.
and I thank you, Bill, and your staff.
I wanted to
for
thank
inviting me.
your agent, Mr. Mashel, for setting this all up. So.
Yeah.
All right.
He told me not to slip. He says, make sure you call it the Bleep Show. Or
but don't slip. All right, good stuff. Thank you,
Thank
Ben.
you, Bill.
We appreciate it. We'll break. Coming up, speaking of SH you-know-what shows, the Utica Common Council. We have one of the members, Katie Aiello, coming up. And there seems to be a bit of tension between two of them on the council. We'll get to that. Coming up next to WIBX.
It seems like everywhere you look right now, someone is sick. This year, prepare your family for airborne invaders like bacteria, pollen, and yes, germs with Navage Nasal Care. Navage flushes ultra-pure, refreshing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. Navage sucks out viruses, dust, and other airborne particles, all the stuff that gets trapped in your nose, making you miserable. Don't get caught empty-handed this winter. Get Navage, the drug-free solution that helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. Even better, Navage is HSA, FSA eligible, so Navage is a great way to spend those funds before they expire. Don't wait a minute longer. Buy Navage today and you'll breathe easier knowing you're putting your funds to good use. Navage is available online at Navage.com or Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
What does it feel like to file with TaxSlayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund has belonged to me.
Using the power of TaxSlayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax-confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use TaxSlayer.
Start for free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-382-4752 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-382-4752. That's 800-382-4752. What do you have to lose? Call 800-382-4752. Again, 800-382-4752.
Hey, you want to make sure your home is very energy efficient? Fred F. Collis & Sons Heating, Cooling, and Insulation has you covered. We had a home energy assessment done in our home, and the experts at Collis will come in. They get right down into the construction of your home. They go through the property. It can be even done virtually, but you could do it in person, which is probably more effective. And everything from insulation to LED light bulbs, weather stripping, programmable thermostats, and more. Based on household size and income, you may qualify for a free freezer or refrigerator, believe it or not. That's one of the programs that's out there right now.
Love that.
Along with money to assist in the project. It's all out there, and Collis can walk you right through it. Call them today at 315-768-2323. Nobody any better. Fred F. Collis & Sons, Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you have your heating with Collis and you call them, you're having an emergency, your furnace is down, it's really cold, weekdays, weeknights, weekends, holidays, they're always on call. Fred F. Collis & Sons, Heating, Cooling, and Insulation, 315-768-2323.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Okay, here she is in studio right now. Is Katie Aiello. Katie, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
So, welcome to 2024 and the new Common Council. What do you think?
I love it. I'm really I was really enjoying just the energy of everybody on this past Wednesday night. And if you didn't see it or you weren't there in attendance, which I do want to note, over 30 people were there watching. It was a packed room. And I just really enjoy the personalities and the combination of everybody we have. And I think it's going to be a little bit more of a chill environment, surprisingly.
Do you enjoy Samantha Testa?
You know, yeah, she was there and elected by the people, and she represents what a lot of Uticans want.
Right. I'm going to let Andrew take this because Andrew has been a lot of the back and forth.
Yes.
It did seem that she,
we disagree.
You did, yes.
Yeah, right. Well, that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
One of the big sticking points she has is this committee systems or the system of a whole. What her concern is, and if I'm just surmising from a lot of the messages she's sending, is that her ability to introduce legislation that she thinks may be good for the people of the city would be stymied by this system or committee of the whole system. What are your thoughts on that?
I disagree. I think this is a better system than the standing committees for a couple of reasons. It was noted, well, the county legislators do committees. Why wouldn't we? In our council of 9 people, we can all be there and we can all have those conversations. When we look at the county legislator, you have 23 legislators. Their committee systems are 9 to 11 people, just by comparison. I'm going to address your point specifically too in a moment, but with this committee of the whole system too, in the standing committee system, you had the council president would decide who was on which committees and who wasn't, and they would also decide where the legislation is assigned to. So now we're eliminating that component. It goes right to everybody. The committee of the whole feature always existed as it was, so now I feel like cuts some of the red tape.
So I guess one of her concerns that she mentioned before when we had her on earlier this week, which was, yesterday? It's only Tuesday, was that the vetting process for this legislation goes away, that there's almost this rush to get it passed, right? You get it at the meeting, 15 minutes later, you got to vote on it. Is that the case? Is there a way to get the legislation to everybody in advance?
My thing with that was, I even said this during the meeting, I don't think their concerns actually stemmed from the committee structure. This stuff could still have existed, and a determined majority could still always move something. But I think the biggest concern comes down to the timing of the meetings. So just a 5 o'clock meeting then before the main meeting is something I think we really need to look at. Have more meetings at separate times, earlier times. And it sounds like the council is in agreement with that.
So you don't feel any of this back and forth with Samantha at all?
Not really.
Right.
It seems like I'm like I said, I'm excited for this upcoming term, and of the personalities replaced, 3 of the 4 people were running for mayor. That's very different energy when you have council people there just to be council people.
What do you?
It's cool.
Right, yeah, that they're not running for.
What will be accomplished this year? You think?
I think we're gonna find out. Hopefully, it's boring. I think government should be boring. I know for me specifically, I have a lot of concerns with a lot of the major apartment complexes and trying to get more council input and support from others on that. Yeah. But we'll see.
Did we find out anything about the ARPA money with Bill Morehouse?
Yeah, Bill Morehouse said he will release it to the public. I know there were some concerns about. There was money that was allocated, but specifically to what purposes were they used, I think was another question that she had.
And I asked that question as well of what was spent, and I know that I think the Vet Center for YWCA, the $1 million was allocated, not spent. The Young Scholars Program has not been reimbursed yet, Lead in Healthy Homes. So there's a couple $1 million that exists, but it's meant for pretty important things.
Do you think that something needs to be done for that young group that seems to be unreachable right now, that is involved in violence in Utica? For God's sakes, the first homicide of the year was a 15-year-old boy.
That's absolutely devastating. Of course, something needs to be done. And that's where I hope this boring government can lead to more progress and results. But yeah, to that point, ARPA, we spent $2 million on gun prevention, and violence prevention is the goal. So we need more of that.
All right.
Not to give a platitude, but I'm cut short here.
Understood. All right. Anything else you want to?
I think we covered a lot of it.
Well, this
so
is
far.
really boring. I mean, there's no fighting, there's no yelling, no calling people names.
It's early in the year.
No questioning your.
I know. Give it some time.
We're
Bill.
not questioning your residency. I mean,
nothing. What are you
what
gonna do?
is going on here? It's
Well,
crazy.
we'll think of something.
All
I'm
right,
sure.
I'm sure we will. All right, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Katie Aiello. All right, WIBX Utica Rome. Couple things, Andrew, I got to do before we get out of
Go
here.
right ahead, 9:02.
New York Sash is known for high-quality products, high energy savings, but once a year they go above and beyond with window discounts. We're talking about buy two, get one free. It is going on right now. For every 2 windows you purchase, you'll get a third absolutely free. Buy 4, get 2 free. And the list goes on. There's no limit. They're made specifically for our climate and weather. Your energy bills will seriously drop. They have top-notch installation as well, backed by a lifetime warranty. If you've been putting off your window project, then right now is the time. Reach out to New York Sash. You can go online at newyorksash.com or visit their showroom, 349 Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. till 6 p.m., Saturdays 9 till 1. Buy 2, get 1 free going on right now at New York Sash. Also, portions of today's program brought to you by Steve Ponte Mazda Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Ricky Z says it's continuing the Inspiration Sales Event. Enjoy 0% APR financing up to 60 months on all new 2024 Mazda CX-5s. It's Mazda's way of saying thank you for an incredibly successful 2023 and to carry that over into 2024. They've increased their inventory so you can take advantage of Mazda's 0% special offer. See the dealership for details. As Rick says, let's make your deal on a Mazda from the dealership that's achieved first place nationally in customer satisfaction, where it's always easy to do business. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville. All right, we're back here tomorrow. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 9:02.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time at 9:03. I'm Andrew Domenio. Right now, it's hovering in the mid-20s under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. We do have that high wind watch going into effect at 1 today until 4 a.m. tomorrow. This update brought to you by John's Mobile Home Parts and Accessories in Oriskany Falls. For all your mobile home needs, it's worth the trip. Visit johnsmobilehomeparts.com. It is going to be another active weather day across central New York thanks to a storm that is expected to bring strong wind gusts. Winds are likely to knock down trees and power lines and trigger outages. National Grid says they are ready and prepared to help customers in need. Utica police are still investigating the first homicide to happen in their city since the beginning of 2024. On Sunday night, a 15-year-old boy was found with a gunshot wound to the head on Warren Street. First responders tried to save the victim's life, but sadly were not able to do so. Police are still looking into whether the gunfire came from a vehicle and are asking any witnesses to please come forward by calling the UPD Major Crimes Unit at 315-223-3556 or by making an anonymous tip to Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. Governor Kathy Hochul will be laying out her agenda for the months ahead during the State of the State address today. The governor is set to speak to members of the legislature at the state capitol in Albany. She has already revealed some proposals in the past several days, including plans to boost reading proficiency in schools, make New York a leader in AI research and innovation, and taking on the maternal and infant mortality crisis. The governor will roll out her state budget at a later date. And state police have released the results of a holiday season crackdown on dangerous driving. There were more than 106,000 tickets given out between December 13th and January 1st. Over 3,800 of those tickets were issued in this area alone for offenses including speeding, distracted driving, and DWI. It is 9:05. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint. We have that high wind warning in effect at 1 today until 4 a.m. tomorrow. We'll see a chance of snow showers and high winds today, highs in the mid to upper 30s. Rain and snow overnight, temperatures will rise overnight into the mid 40s, then rain showers likely tomorrow with rain in the mix, cloudy with a high near 43. We have the Brian Kilmeade Show coming up next on your News Talk and Sports Leader WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for the past 52 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedsantique.com.